and welcome to the Lonely Marks. JPO,
Live.
we are
We're
live. Yes, we
live.
are. We are. We certainly are here on the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast channel. I am Austin Pez Howell. Jacob's handing the reins over me tonight. He's a little under the weather, but he's still here tonight. Jacob, you're surviving. I know. You work around those damn kids, right? Is that what it is? Just always getting around those sickly kids.
Always.
Always, right?
Yeah, and it never fails. Like anytime we have an extended weekend, that seems to be the time when I get sick, and we have the entire week of Christmas off. So of course,
you're gonna be sick during your week off, right? Well, you know what? Lay around and watch those 2024 movies you're trying to catch up on, right? So
I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
Yeah, cranking them out, man. Richie, how's it going, man? I know it's been such a long time since I saw you on Wheel of Movies 10 minutes ago, but yeah, how's it going?
It's going good. I have to talk about the best modern day wrestlers, basically, and going well, and always good to be here. Me and my haircut isn't asked for. Then I'm going to.
I asked for mine because I did mine earlier this afternoon myself, so I did it exactly the way I wanted.
I also asked for mine.
Yeah, I asked me to do it the way I want it, and then I just did it. So, that worked out pretty well, and I didn't have to tip. Anytime I don't have to tip, that's nice too. You know, I don't have to show an extra money on a tablet to be like, "Where's the no tip button?" I want to find that button. JPO, you're here tonight, man. How's it going, buddy? You all right?
I might even be less talkative too because I'm getting that winter cough I always seem to fucking get. Trying to kill that before it gets worse. Fingers crossed.
Well, it's all good. We're going to breeze through some news topics here. We'll be joined by JB3 very shortly as well. He's going to join us for the Rankum portion of the show. So we'll have 5, none of those pesky tiebreakers and whatnot. So he'll be joining us here very shortly. And speaking of the devil, oh my God, something just popped up on my screen. Speaking of the devil, and he shall appear. There he is. And of course, he's got stuff on the background. What's up, JB3?
Not a lot, man. How's it going?
No, good, man. Thanks for joining us. JB3 is an honorary Lonely Mark tonight, joining us for Rankum. So thanks for being with us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. It's always a good time to be on here with you. A lot of the times, I'm not on the air. A lot of the times, we're all here watching stuff.
Mm-hmm. Just watching pay-per-views,
So
we're on the air now. Yeah, we're talking wrestling. So we're just jumping. We're gonna hit just a few news topics for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just really quick, just a couple of rapid fire ones. Get some quick thoughts, and then we'll get to the Rankum fairly quickly. But yeah, there's a good amount of topics to talk about. So we'll do some breezy run throughs. We'll kind of go in chronological order. We'll go on the horn. Get everybody's thoughts. If you watched Saturday night's main event, what'd you guys think? Your highlights, lowlights. How's the presentation? Jacob, did you see Saturday night's main event?
I did. I thought it was a decent show, fairly predictable, but I think that's to be expected. I don't think that, put down my level of enjoyment, though. I thought it was still a good show. I thought there was some good moments. I do hate that they're doing all of this like after the show goes off the air stuff. It's like, no, show it live. I don't want to have to catch up 2 hours later and be like, oh wait, what did I miss? Oh, did I turn the show off too soon? Oh no, they posted it online 2 hours later. Okay, whatever. No, I thought there were some really good matches. I think Drew versus Sammy was good. Shout out to Chelsea Green finally winning the title. I think that was the highlight of the night for me.
I'm sorry, I think you meant Chelsea Green.
I love that William's doing it now.
That is exactly what I meant. And yeah, I'm loving heel Kevin Owens. I think he's doing some great work right now. So
he's always better as a heel. Show. He just is. He's just better as a heel. It's just not as naturally is. But Richie, just some overall quick thoughts on Saturday night's main event. What'd you think?
Yeah, I love the presentation of it. It felt different from when they first tried to bring it back. It felt actually like they, it felt like a different type of show. It felt like a special show. And saw some of the legends there as well. It's weird. I didn't even recognize Coco Beware when he's in the audience. I'm like, oh, that's Coco Beware. It was cool. And it's cool to see Jesse Ventura on commentary and
doing exactly what we thought, just kind of hanging around and then just doing commentary for the main event, exactly.
It's still fun, still, I guess the negative is that it's predictable. But so it'd be cool, if they go forward to have title changes here and there. But it was cool that Chelsea Green win, and especially there was that counter, that unpretty her counter was pretty sweet. And yeah, I'm looking forward to her reign. Apparently, she took the belt to Disneyland and did a pose on. That was pretty cool. So it was a good show with that, but like it could have been. Yeah, the predictability is a bit annoying, but I think they do the whole the after the show thing, obviously to get social media engagement up, and then also get people to the live shows. Like, hey, look, you never know what will happen. So yeah, I get why they do it. It is, as a viewer, it might be annoying, but yeah, I get why they're doing it lately. So yeah, and he's like, I think he's defending the winged. Kevin Owens is defending the winged eagle belt on like a house show loop, a Christmas house show loop. So it's kind of fun. But it was a good show without being like overly amazing, but it was fun.
Yeah, JPO, did you check out Saturday's main event? What'd you think?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm excited to see that it's back. I'm always down for a little extra wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I start talking,
of course. You're totally fine. Then no, go ahead, man. You're good. Yeah.
But no, overall agree with what you guys said here. Big pop for Chelsea Green. I like the fact that it was down between her and Michin. I was afraid it was going to end up being maybe just like a Bailey again, or even Tiffany Stratton, who's probably destined for the other title. But I'm glad that it went to somebody that actually deserves and could use a big first time win, first time big title rather, in Chelsea Green. So I'm all for that here. And yeah, it felt like a big show, good matches, and man, we're rolling. We're still got big Raw coming up, big AEW's coming up. But it's a fun time.
Yeah, no, it's a good time to be a fan. JB, did you watch Saturday Night's main event at all?
I did. I watched it. I thought it was fun. I had an old school vibe. Obviously, like you're saying, the Body, Jesse Ventura being there, that was cool. My favorite thing, because you guys already touched base on a lot of the things, I did like Chelsea Green winning. Richie saying the flip into the unpretty her, that was dope. Side note, I don't think people realize that Chelsea Green not knowing how to wrestle that good is a character. Like, that chick could go, she can wrestle, but I like that she's starting to pick it up in the ring more. She's still keeping to her character, but she is also like showing, okay, I can do this though. Watch this. Well-deserved win. But my favorite part of the whole night was something that me and Austin, we talk about a lot when we watch pay-per-views. We talk about how these moves just don't mean anything anymore. And now, in 2 swift maneuvers, Kevin Owens has officially made the pile driver the most dangerous move in wrestling again. And I love that. I think it's great. I think that's what's needed. You don't have to talk. You don't have to cut a promo about it. No, you do a maneuver in the right timing, in the right context, and let the commentators do their job, and let the person taking it do their job. And here you go. The pile driver is now one of the most dangerous, and not just the pile driver. Now, for the first time since he got there, he finally uses the package pile driver.
That damn package pile driver. Yeah.
And it wasn't on the apron, which led to the 2 Canadian destroyers and a 450 for a kick out. It was something that put Cody Rhodes down and stretchered out. And that was amazing. That was my favorite part of the night.
Yeah, no, the favorite part of the night. And I thought that could have been a great cliffhanger to end the show. I thought you could have had Cody posing. Maybe we're about to, go to black and have Kevin pop him from behind and hit the package pile driver and have the commentators freak out, referee freak out, whatever, and have them and standing over him and then end the show. And I thought that would have been kind of a cool cliffhanger to get you to maybe tune in to Raw. I think I get what they're doing with the social media thing, but I also thought that would be a nice way to get you to tune in to see what happens, on the next show. And if they had done that instead, just my personal opinion.
I did hear that, and I don't know how true it is. I did hear that it was a timing issue, but there's a chance it could have been that, or it could have been what you said. They could have just done that on purpose. I mean, they did that with Kevin Owens attacking Cody outside of the bus, which in 2024 works, because everyone's going to be paying attention after the fact. So.
I guess to that end with moves meaning something, it was cool to see that Gunther just pinned Finn Balor with one powerbomb. That was fun. Good.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, he just hit like some boots or like just a couple of big power moves and then hits a power bomb and pins him clean in the middle of the ring. Like it's
and that was a fun match.
Yeah, no, definitely, and yeah, the fact that they're trying to at least make things mean something. Didn't Randy Orton get hit with a pile driver too, and like still like kind of a neck thing? I mean, they're trying to make like moves mean something. I mean, I enjoy a good crazy back and forth match, but yeah, when you see sequences where guys are no selling one Canadian destroyer after another, I'm just like, remember that move used to mean something when Petey Williams hit it in 2004? Like when that was like a big deal, and you'd be like, oh my god, holy shit! And that was just like
he's there.
Move.
He's that Raw every week.
Well, maybe he's trying to make the pile drivers mean something because they used to mean something when he would do it, and that actually was the finisher. But yeah, so no, I thought it was a good presentation. Jesse was cool. Yeah, it was nice seeing him, go into like heel, announcer mode in the main event, defending all of Kevin's stuff and, everything. And then of course, like, putting down Cody for, doing anything dirty, things like that. So, typical heel announcer, it's fun. He slipped right into the role. I think he was great. And yeah, if they bring him back to call a match on each of these main events, like I'm down, like, to bring that old school vibe just for like a main event, I'm fine. And have him be kind of like a pseudo host, like with Joe, I'm down with that. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, the three-way was fun. Chelsea Green was good. And yeah, I just dug the presentation of it. So yeah, they got another one on January 25th, I believe, right before the Royal Rumble, like the week before the Royal Rumble. So that could be a big show as well.
Put a tag title match on that show.
Yeah, put a tag title match on there, right, JP? Let's get some tag title representation, goddammit, on that show and give him some time.
What's a tag title? Is that the thing you see on
a tag title, JPO, speaking of, is the thing the War Raiders won on Raw.
Hey,
hey, nice
get more matches now.
Hey, you see what I did there?
Now they're going to start pushing Ivar in singles. What the fuck?
Yeah. Eric's like,
okay. Ivar will just jump into another like IC Intercontinental title tournament, and just
doesn't bother me. Like, okay, if you're gonna do a feud with Damien, cool. Like, have him drop the titles or do a freebird, like Carlito jump in. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, man.
Yeah, so at least they're on a team now. Yeah, that can defend it and start moving on with that. If they're faces, you can see them starting
I
the New Day.
On our favorite tag team of the year, like who the hell are the WWE nominations going to be? Like, was there any really good dominant tag teams this year? The division was so like overlooked. Like, maybe SEMG, maybe Machine Guns because they had a nice hot debut, but like that's based on 2 months of work.
Jade and Bianca.
Cool, but like not.
Oh yeah, actually, if we include the women's division, Jade and Bianca probably are one of the better booked tag teams of the year for sure. Actually,
they are the PWI #1 tag team according to 2024.
Hey, who's the tag team of the year in WWE? The NXT tag team, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. That's the
true.
Yeah,
they'll be up there. I'm just saying, it's kind of sucks that main roster you're literally
right. Yeah.
Judgment Day had it for a long time. They didn't do shit with it. DIY was pretty brief, and their new run just started.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
New Day wasn't really doing anything until they turned heel.
Butch and, even though Butch and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate had a really good match, they ended up breaking up, or Bate got hurt, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we got new champions. So the War Raiders going to do their thing for a little while. So good for them. So yeah, freshen it up a little bit. Yeah, let those guys do these feuds and let them do their thing. So there you go. And a few things coming out of it. They had a Netflix press conference to kind of hype up that Netflix debut. We got a few official matches booked. We got Rhea and Liv once again having another match on that show. Roman versus Solo for the Ula Fala, which I have a strong feeling there will be some shenanigans with a certain great one in that match. I'm just putting that out there that we're probably going to see a certain final boss, make an appearance on that Netflix debut. I would not be surprised since they're treating it like a WrestleMania pay-per-view. That's their words, not mine. And we got, kind of a Punk Rollins face-off, so they will have a one-on-one match on that Netflix debut as well. And also Logan Paul, he's not retired, as we said. Of course he wasn't retired. We never believed that for a second. He is officially part of the Raw roster now. So he will be probably making more and more frequent appearances on that. So let's go around backwards around the horn. Any thoughts on any of those announcements or any of that matchups with JB? Any thoughts on any of those topics kind of in there?
It was funny because Then we have this little we got we got this little group chat going on, and I kind of there was a big thread that I missed going on today, and one of the big topics when I went back to read it was Liv and Rhea, and like our buddy kind of had a hot take. I don't know if you call it a hot take, but he said something on there about the feud, and he kept saying things and about he wants it to end, which a lot of people could maybe do, but it's funny because he would say something and I was at a question in my head, and then I'd keep reading and Richie would ask the question that I asked. In my head I was like, oh yeah, Richie, that's exactly what I was gonna say. What do you mean people? What people?
People saying that like they're sick of it. Like, are you talking about the internet?
Are you talking about the people in your head? Are you talking about the people? But I don't know if there's actual people that are sick of it. I'm not sick of it in the sense that I want it to end right now. But I think that I will say that I was waiting for Rhea to say the word steel cage, and she didn't. That would have been cool. Maybe that'd be something to go to the next week. Maybe there would just be too many shenanigans, and then she'll say, I want another match, steel cage next week. You got to get people to watch on the 13th too. I don't know. Maybe that'd be the main event for the 13th. But I think it's coming close to an end. But one of the most forgotten facts about that is I think Liv Morgan defeated Io Sky clean. And then Rhea Ripley's music hit when she was out celebrating, and usually she would run. She didn't run. She turned around with her face hurting, looked her in the eye, put her title up in the air, and like that was a moment. I was like, okay, that's what we need. We need some of that. So I'm excited for that match. The Punk Seth thing, to me, obviously that should have happened last year, but it couldn't. So I'm glad it's happening on Netflix though. That's going to be fun. And then Roman and Solo. By the way, the new bloodline are starting to get over with their shenanigans on the microphone with Tama Tonga. And then now everywhere I look now, all I can see is people saying, I love you, Solo.
I like you.
So that's hilarious to see. But yeah, that's going to be a good match. It's interesting, and I think it's going to be brought up later, probably in a promo, that Roman and Solo is not main eventing, but CM Punk is main eventing that.
Oh yeah,
that might get brought up.
Because Dwayne always takes over the main event spot from Punk, so that could play some kind of role in this thing too. Remember how he always talked about Dwayne taking his spot in the main event? Yeah, just showing up and taking the spotlight. That could play into something as well. I think.
And then there was also breaking news. Cole asked Punk, what he thinks, what is the favor that he asked of Paul, and Punk revealed that the favor was that he wants Paul Heyman's Netflix password.
Okay. But Netflix doesn't allow that anymore. They crack down on passwords now, unless you're in the same household. So I don't think even Paul Heyman could get past that now.
Maybe they'll move into.
Hello, Netflix. This is Paul Heyman.
My name is Paul Heyman, Mr. Netflix.
Can I speak
to Hulu if you don't respect me?
My password is Wise Man.
Excuse me. Can I please speak to Mr. Steven Netflix, please?
Steven Netflix, yeah. JPO, any thoughts on any of the those Raw topics and shenanigans and all that going on?
No, I'm just excited for the future here. I trust him in how long the Liv and Rhea stuff will last here. But don't forget too, we got a lot coming up. Whether it's keeping those Raws hot. Saturday night's main event again is happening in a month and a half, not even more than a little over a month. Rumble is going to be in February, so got a lot to build up to. We're doing a lot of big stuff. Punk versus Rollins is something I'm super looking forward to. I mean, you're talking about two matches of Ring of Honor, so I'm down for that here. Interested to see how much Logan Paul is actually going to stick around. Is he going to be around maybe a little bit more this time around, or is this just the normal SmackDown run, maybe he'll pop in and out. So interested in seeing how that works out too.
But yeah, moving him over, I think to the Raw roster is interesting because you can get him maybe in the IC title picture, mix it up a little bit. That could be fun. I wouldn't
I know
mind
he
seeing.
sees like a world title, but like
I kind of want him in that IC. I'd rather see him like see Braun Breaker beat him up a little bit. That might be kind of fun, somebody like that. That could be a good time. See Sheamus beat up on him a little bit. Some of those guys.
Did we get a tease? Did we get a tease of Gunther being face? Because as soon as he brought up smacking them around and smacking that dumb look off his face or whatever, the crowd was into that.
I mean, they're kind of leaning that way. I mean, they're not going full blown yet, but I think they're trying to make it kind of happen a little organically, and they're definitely pushing for it. Because if you put him in there with Logan, they're cheering for Gunther to just beat him up. All day, yeah, 100%. I don't see anybody doing that, but Richie, any thoughts on any of those Raw topics?
Yeah, once I saw that, heard that people were gonna sort of move over, that they're doing that rule where the draft's gonna be a bit sort of relaxed for a couple of months. I was like, yeah, Logan's gonna move over. He's a huge star, so and that's not surprising. I don't see I only see maybe they do Logan and Gunther on a Raw, or maybe they that sounds like a Saudi match as well. So maybe they do that. But yeah, so as far as that goes, but yeah, the matches I'm looking forward to on Netflix. I think they would be good. I did notice that Livers, had a bit, it was a bit more badass and brave, sticking up to Rhea, and even after also forget Io legit kneed her in the face. That was
God, yeah, just kneed her right in the goddamn nose. Yeah, ugh.
Yeah. But that sort of added to the whole situation because she looked badass there. I'm not. I think there's you've still got some steam left. Punk and Seth, I think it'll be great. It'll be interesting. I don't know who the crowd's going to cheer for necessarily. I think it's probably split. I don't know if they're turning Seth. It feels sometimes they are, but I don't know. The Roman and Solo, I'm sure there'll be some shenanigans there. I wouldn't be surprised just for a big show if that opens up the show or something. So I think
the big shows in Ring of Honor.
What was big show in Ring of Honor? Well, did he show up in Ring of Honor?
He's their almost kind of GM type guy, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I didn't know that.
Big show update.
All right. Fair enough. Shout out to Paul White. But I'm looking forward to everything. Yeah, everything we've got going on the Raw side of things, and I think this should be looking forward to everything. Exciting times.
Yeah, Jacob, any quick thoughts on any of those topics?
Yeah, it should be. I think it should be a good show. I was a little surprised that Punk and Rollins were, announced as the main event, given that Roman's on the show. His first TV match since teaming up with Sami Zayn to take on Cena and Owens, the 30th of December in 2022. So it's been a while since he's wrestled on TV.
Punk beats that by years.
Well,
Punk
was also out of the company for a long time.
No, but I'm just saying, if you're going by last time we saw them on a TV match, Punk's way more special.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, but it's Roman. But no,
also
let him talk.
The difference is one of these people didn't walk out on the company. Anyway, no, it should be good. And especially given the fact that the Rock
Barber
is, especially the fact that the Rock is rumored to be there. Probably not rumored. I think it's pretty much confirmed.
It's gonna be a big fucking deal. He's gonna show up. People are gonna be watching. He's gonna show up. I can almost guarantee he's gonna be there.
Yeah, and then I think the thing that most intrigued me was because I just didn't see it coming was Gunther coming out and calling out Logan Paul. It makes me wonder now. Could Logan Paul potentially be your Royal Rumble winner? Is that the match maybe we're going for WrestleMania?
No.
You guys say that, but we've seen weirder things happen
No.
No.
I could see them having a title match and like they can even do one like Elimination Chamber or something where it's like predictable, but you could do the match, like just in between Rumble and WrestleMania or something, or do it on a Saturday night's main event or something. I'm fine with that. But yeah, no, I don't. No, he's not gonna like win the Rumble. No, look, I
This
think
is
the
the
Rumble's
same
fairly
company that
unpredictable.
gave
but yeah.
Jinder Mahal a WWE title reign. Nothing
That was
is
when Vince was
possible.
there, and they were stupid. So yeah,
And also Rumble and Mania, to be fair as well.
He'll get a title
Still a
shot.
Jinder Mahal title reign.
Right. So I could buy you selling me Logan winning it in May. I just don't buy Logan and Gunther at Mania.
I can. I think Logan is a big enough star. I think he brings eyes to the product. I think, especially if they're teasing this Gunther face turn, which they've been doing the last, like who's one of the bigger heels in the company than Logan Paul. Like I think if you want to get Gunther over as a face, having him beat up on Logan Paul, especially for 2 months leading into to WrestleMania, I could see it. You guys can call me crazy all you want. I'm not going to back down from this. It's what's that mean? That's my opinion. Then you guys can all just like look weird with the one eyes grouping this way and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it. I could see it happening. And when it does happen, I'll be waiting for my apology. And when it doesn't happen, well, I never said this.
In 2026.
I think the match will happen. I just don't think it's going to be a Mania. I think they'll do the match.
I think Logan's not going to win. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
My only other Gunther match that I could see happening is if potentially, since John Cena is on this retirement tour.
That's what I would see.
I could see Cena and Gunther. Cena wins unless.
I can see Gunther as well.
My only other thing with Cena is since he is appearing could be maybe he wants to go after the one title he's never won in his career and he wants to win that IC title. Maybe could be his last Mania moment, him holding up the IC title. That's the only other thing I could see. But I could see also a world title match.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, and we could see a number of scenarios in the next few months. It's going to be interesting next few months. Yeah, well, literally things could happen week to week, and it's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah, we won't touch on AEW too much, just because I think we can catch up on AEW when we're doing our World's End discussions, next week with the predictions and whatnot. We'll catch up on the Continental Classic happenings and everything like that. But we will touch on the press release they put out with a little more information on this Max deal that is starting in January, and I was able to pull up the thing we posted in our group. So that all the essentially Dynamite and Collision and I believe Rampage as well will be streamed live and then on demand right afterwards. So that's cool. Good to know that I can start watching their programming. So that's pretty good for me who doesn't have cable. And then it says the past library content will be made available on a rolling basis. I don't know exactly what that means, but some kind of past content will be made available up to a certain point. I don't know exactly what that means, but the pay-per-view content maybe for the previous years will be up there at some point. They might have a little bit of a delay as far as like you won't get the pay-per-view replay right after because they want you to buy it, but maybe 6 months after, something like that, or the next year you can go back and watch them. So we'll see how that goes. And then so it says they're going to have all the inaugural 2019 pay-per-views and Dynamites available right away, and then 2 months of recent programming, which is good for me, as I said in the thing, because I can catch up on all these Continental Classics that I missed over the last month or so, a couple of weeks, and get caught up on those. So I certainly appreciate being able to go back at least about 2 months and catch up on a few things. So
by the time that happens, the World's End will have happened, and if you watch the pay-per-view, you're going to be spoiled anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I don't know what that rolling basis thing means. That's the only thing. Yeah, you and I were both.
I just them saying slowly throughout the year we're gonna air the 2020 stuff, the 2021 stuff, 2023.
Add content as they go. That's fine.
Yeah, they're gonna drip feed it to you. Like, hey, go.
Because these immediate pay-per-views are gonna want you to you're still gonna have to buy them. I did see something to where I think if you have a Max subscription, it's going to be like discounted or something through Max.
That's what they originally said. Yeah, that's why I've always wondered what that discount is. That's my big question.
Yeah. We don't know the details on that yet, but good to know that they're going to at least have at least seems like some kind of AEW section on Max, that you can click over to, like Peacock, with WWE, and then access at least some past content. And yeah, good to know that they'll be on demand, kind of like with this Netflix, how they're going to put it on demand pretty much right away, right after it airs. That's good to know, that if I want to watch it the next day or something like that, I can start following the shows week to week. So it's pretty cool because they sometimes have some great matches that I want to see. And good to know that, these matches that I missed, like Ospreay and Darby Allin, or upcoming, Ospreay, Ricochet, some of the Claudio matches, things like that. I want to go back and watch some of those. So good to know that I'll be able to do that. But yeah, Jacob, thoughts on, a little bit more details about this Max thing. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that it only took him about 5 years to get a big streaming deal. I think that's, pretty good for this company, when most people were like, we'll see where they are in 5 years. And 5 years later, they're, the number 2 wrestling company in the world. Yeah, it's nice for people that, don't have cable and
like
stuff
me.
like that. They can finally, watch week to week, and discounted pay-per-views are always nice. And the ability to pause and come back later if something comes up. You're not gonna miss it. You're gonna be like, all right, well. So no, I think it's cool. Yeah, shout out to AEW for being able to get this. Like I said, who would have thought all this would happen within the first 5 years? So shout out to them.
No, it's
Also, CM Punk's last match was on Monday Night Raw in January of 2014. He defeated Billy Gunn.
What?
Jeez, that's a wrestling with trivia question right there, JPO.
Oh, it's been asked.
I was going to say, that seems like a weird factoid. But I mean, I was going to say, it's exciting that we're starting this new year, and both companies are going to have these like fresh streaming deals, and with some interesting things going on. So that's pretty cool. That it's a very exciting time to kind of be a big wrestling fan. Wrestling's cool again, as some people have said. Even The Rock has said. Jesse Ventura said, it was fun. So Richie, any thoughts on this AEW stuff here?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect me as directly as you guys, but it's still cool. I think one of the things that I took from it too is that, like, because there was rumors that they were getting rid of Rampage. Obviously, that's not the case. They're going to keep it around. Which is interesting. Hopefully, they play. Because
they might still move to that shockwave thing, whatever they're talking about at some point. I don't know, like, how that's going to work, but they're still talking about that. We'll see.
I mean, like, maybe they're trying to build Rampage up, considering when they put Tony Storm on there. That's a rant now. Why did they put Tony Storm on Rampage? Anyway, I think it's a cool deal.
It's something that I don't get. People bitch about Rampage not having enough. They put someone really good on there. People are like, why are you doing something good on Rampage? They never win with Rampage.
She's in front of very few eyeballs. I don't know. Anyway,
then watch Rampage.
Right. But no, I think it's only going to be a plus, and I think it's a good deal for them. So all positives, but the Tony Storm thing that me and JP aren't going to agree on.
All right,
right.
Lonely Marks debate. JPO, Rampage having better content. Richie, why they shouldn't have better content because nobody's watching anyways. All right, go. Battleground, go. Pro and con. 2 minutes.
Okay, I just think that you don't have like because it's just Tony Storm in action. People aren't.
Okay, I wasn't actually serious. All right, JPO, your thoughts on the Max thing?
That's your fault for saying go. I thought you were. I was like, all right, I'm about to do this.
No. I was fucking with you. I didn't know you would actually do it. JPO.
Like Vince McMahon over here. I don't know what you want, boss. No, I mean, I'm down. You know what I mean? I can cancel Sling now. Only reason to keep Sling would be for Impact and Impractical Jokers. And I can just get the Impact app. Oh, and SmackDown, I guess I'll have to figure something out for that, too. That's still on Hulu? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to spend $40 for SmackDown. But, no, I'm excited for it here. My quick question, too, is can I rewind live? Like, can I jump in at 8:30? Can I jump in at 9? Or do I have to, A, watch it live, or B, watch the replay? That's my last question. Yeah, because like with Sling, I can literally tune in at 9 and just backtrack to 8 and then catch up, or just watch it on my leisure. So that's my last question. You just never know what's up with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Again,
And what that
some of
discount
this,
is. I want to know what that discount
yeah,
is.
some of this we're just gonna have to find out as it like happens live.
Yeah.
You know, like as it comes along next month and starts to stream. So
And then the only other AEW tidbit I had too is a lot of people are thinking they mentioned FTR is like we won't be alone on that first big Impact. Adam Copeland, a lot of people are saying figuring him. Sounds like he's most likely been cleared. He lives in that area, so rated FTR. So I think Edge will be on that.
I'm keeping an eye out for him this week at my Publix. I'm just saying. All right. Anyways.
Yeah. Be like,
I don't know if this is I guess it's technically an AEW tidbit in a way, but the only other thing I had is that I'm pretty sure that this week in Raw, I think they teased the debut, the pending debut of maybe Penta. So
that's the WWE tidbit. It's not an AEW tidbit. Okay.
But shut up. He's from AEW. He's coming from AEW to WWE. It's sort of an AEW. You were very argumentative today. Stop brought me up.
Well, yeah, but I'm with JP on this. That's a WWE tidbit.
It is a WWE tidbit. Just saying at the end of the day.
If he's signed with WWE, then that's WWE.
It's in a way. I said in a way.
In a way, yeah. Unfortunately, Ray Phoenix
a lot
is
of people
still
are figuring it's the zero crossed out. So a lot of people are figuring that's no fear, guessing zero fear.
Yeah,
so it does track. There's the rumors that Pentagon or Phoenix is being held back a little bit. So we'll see when he comes along, but might be Penta by himself at first.
Yeah. JB, do you watch Dynamite or Collision, or do you have Max to maybe start watching anything like that?
I have cable, and that's my thing. Is it still going to be on cable?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Still streaming.
Okay.
They're just saying they're going to stream it simultaneously on Max, so you can tune into Max or tune into your regular cable, obviously. So
from a business perspective, I'm curious to what's going to happen with the viewership. Their viewership is pretty low right now. I mean, Rampage is a dead show. Collision is a dying show. Dynamite is what they got left. Yeah. They don't have a lot of people watching those shows at all.
You put Tony Storm. No, I'm kidding.
No, and that's why people were complaining about the Tony Storm thing. I think it's a catch-22. What JPO was saying about, you don't want them to put Tony Storm on the dead show. Well, but then you complain that then people don't watch it because there's nothing on there. That's obviously, that's just beating a dead horse. I think, but that's how it goes. Rampage started with an Impact World Title change with the first show. Second show, they had CM Punk make his big return, over 1 million views, and then slowly down the line, it dwindled to dark. And then same thing with Collision. It started off hot, and then it dwindled away. Collision, I think, is a little bit forgivable because of all the controversy and the drama that happened. Because AEW has a lot of drama that goes down. Like even with Pentagon, like he was saying, it's an AEW thing. Well, obviously he's a free agent now. He's going to WWE, and then you got Ray Phoenix that supposedly is going to be, spilling the beans. He can't now, but he will soon. Maybe he won't sign an NDA like everybody else had to, with all the things that are going on there. But
we'll know he's free of everything when he goes on Chris Van Vliet's show. That's the indicator.
Yeah, that's the
indicator. When you see him pop up doing of Van Vliet, that seems to be the indicator. That's like the first interview they always do.
So stops thing as well. Coming from the perspective for me, so I was a huge AEW fan in the beginning. I have soured a little bit on the product, but I canceled my Max about 3 months ago. Now hearing this news as a consumer, I can easily watch Dynamite. I can easily watch all these things on my cable TV. It makes me think to myself, okay, do I want Max now that they're going to have all the old, pay-per-views coming back? And I'll be honest, it's tempting. I may subscribe again because of AEW, which speaks a lot from someone who doesn't like the product as much as they used to, from someone who does have access to watch the product outside of the subscription service and who is not subbed to Max. I still am tempted to join Max again just so that I can see some of that old content that I used to love. So that's interesting to me. I wonder, it could, with me having that mentality, being what people could call me an AEW hater now, I'm still willing to join the subscription service just to watch some of the old stuff. Maybe there's more people out there who will be like, and obviously there's people who don't have cable and they're like, finally, like you, Austin, I'm going to start watching Dynamite and stuff. I'm curious how many people are actually like me who really loved AEW at first. It kind of really fell off of the product. And now this happens. It's like, ooh, that's kind of tempting. I might want to join up again, So that's a thing.
Well, it's interesting news about, again, the parallels of how many more people will start watching Raw now that it's on Netflix, a major streaming service that legitimately has hundreds of millions of people, subscribe to it. And I'm not saying, Raw is going to get 100 million views. I'm not saying that, but how many more people that wouldn't normally watch Raw because they don't have cable will like tune into Raw now that it's on Netflix and they can watch it on demand. And the same thing with AEW, people like me who can't watch because they're cord cutters like me, Dynamite, if the ratings go down a little bit, but if the streaming numbers propel them a little bit, you know what I'm saying, JB? Like if they get more people tuning in like me that can watch it just through the Max app, if they do some decent numbers on there. So I don't know. It's just an interesting time to see, the viewers that get picked up or dropped, vice versa. So
right. I'm curious if WrestleNomics will be able to track that the same way they track it with cable, which I think they just get like I forgot what they call it. They have a name for it. Like they don't get the actual numbers, they get like an overnight number. So it's not all the way accurate, but kind of accurate. I wonder how they can track the sub service that goes with Netflix, with Raw, and with Dynamite and Max. I'm curious how that will affect things.
Yeah, no, there's ways they track it, but it's also weird because most of the track numbers come from the service themselves. So how much can you trust the actual numbers that they send them? Like, it's like the Disney Plus shit where they're like, so many people watch The Acolyte, and I'm like, really? Did they? Okay, all right, I shit like that where you're just like, I wonder, sometimes they, did 50 million people really watch Red One this week? That's what Amazon says. Did they really? I wonder. I don't know about that, but
be interesting too. Like with the streaming service I watch, like to be on it, like binge. Where like I have to like. I mean, I can watch like the live feed later on. This is live feed, but then like if I want to watch it with no ads or whatever, that's like it'll come up later. Be interesting to see what the wait time is between like it being live and then it being just archived. You know what I mean? I don't know what the wait time was between the Logan Paul and Mike Tyson match.
I know Netflix has pretty much said it'll be up almost immediately. Like they're going to archive it pretty quickly, so like you can literally watch it after the fact or the next day. I don't know about Max, like as far as Dynamite goes. I would assume if they could just archive it pretty much immediately and put it up at least the next day, that would be ideal. I'd imagine that's not that hard to do, to just transfer it over there, especially if it's airing live. You just essentially record it. So we'll see. But it's an exciting time. But I think we'll kind of wrap up the news for now. That's kind of most of the tidbits that came out this week. No, JPO? Hurry quickly. We got to get to rank them. Let's go. What do you got?
I know. Well, there's more important stuff because you guys are haters on other companies.
Oh, jeez.
No. I'll keep it brief here. One second.
Is there like another TNA pay-per-view? I feel like we've done like 3 TNA pay-per-views in 3 weeks. How many pay-per-views?
No, but real quick about TNA, real quick though. Tessa Blanchard did return here. Kind of controversial here. She, of course, she was the world champion back in 2020 before the pandemic happened. Then stepped away from the company. And then a lot of people came out saying she has said some horrible things in the past, and she got blackballed for a while here. It's only been working in like Mexico and smaller promotions, but they brought her back, and so let's see if everyone's happy with that here. Joe Hendry is your number one contender again, so it'll be interesting to see if he maybe finally gets that title. And share my screen. Ring of Honor has a pay-per-view tomorrow, Final Battle 2024. 13 matches, baby. Tony Khan loves matches.
Oh my god. They're doing fucking 0 hours for Ring of Honor too? Oh my god.
Hell yeah, gotta have them bonus matches.
Oh my god. How many of these people have ever been on AEW TV in the last 6 months? Who we got? Don't know who that is.
Tono Linona, I think were. You got the Grizzly Young Veterans against Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. The Infantry, Carly Bravo and Sean Dean taking on Mike Bennett.
Hold on. Remember when the Grizzly Young Veterans like debuted at Wembley and that went nowhere? But okay, just went
nowhere.
Went fucking
Tommy
nowhere.
Bill
And now they're on 0 hour on ROH.
Mansoor versus Atlantis Jr., Jay Lethal versus QT Marshall, Lee Moriarty defends his Pure Championship in an open challenge match. Red Velvet defends the Women's World TV title against Layla Hirsch. We got a Survival of the Fittest match for the TV Championship. Brian Cage defends against Air Fox, Blake Christian, Commander Mark Davis, and Willie Mack. The tag team titles on the line in a Texas Bull Rope match. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara are taking on the Righteous, Vincent, and Dutch. Athena defends her Women's Championship against Billy Starks. And in the main event, Chris Jericho defends his world title against Matt Cardona for the King of New York, baby.
Yeah. A quick correction. Actually, Athena actually said in an interview that their main event in the show.
She said that, but she also had said that previously, so the time will still tell whether or not that's actually the truth.
But she was right previously.
I understand, but I'm just saying that's still something that she has said just as a character on stuff. It's not always true, is what I'm saying. Like, she calls herself the main event. She's called herself the main event before, where she wasn't. So she might be. I guess I did say that kind of despairingly because it is, to me, that makes way more sense than the other one. Unless maybe Starks wins and then they try to send people home happy if Jericho retains. I could see that being a possibility. And also, too, the last thing I want to say is Lade is on Peacock. Big E's in the pilot.
Yeah, based on an Australian show, which they're not even. It's
Ooh, I don't want to watch it then.
It's a remake of an Australian show.
All right. Let me know when they start Southland Street in America. All right. Let's go to rank 'em. Let's get this done. Let's get into our main topic of the day because this is what we've got. JB here as our special guest. We're gonna wrap up this singles wrestler rank 'em series that JPO got us started on a couple months back. We've been working our way through the decades and whatnot, naming our top wrestlers of each decade. And again, these are just for the time periods we're talking about, or with their accomplishments inside those time periods, is what we're going to be ranking. So we're going to be looking for a top 12 here. So get 12 nominations out there on the board, and then we'll eventually rank them 12 to 1. And the topic is we're kind of rounding out wrestlers 2020 to now. So essentially just every, the current wrestlers of what's going on. So we could still have some crossovers from previous decades, as we've been talking about. A couple of these guys have bridged multiple, multiple rank-ups on here, and we'll see maybe that could still be the case. So we'll just go around the horn. Everybody get a chance to throw out a nomination, and then the rest of the panel will vote yay or nay on it and just give a quick yes, quick no, and a reason or two why or why not. And we'll see if it majority rules and it makes the board. So that's how it's going to work. I'll kind of moderate the proceedings here, but we'll start to my right. So we'll start with Mr. Barber. You can throw out the very first nomination, sir. So who would you like to nominate for Best Wrestlers 2020 to now?
Yeah, I think there's a few, I think, no-brainers that absolutely have to make the list, and I think Gunther is one of them. He entered the decade as the NXT UK champion, made it to the main roster, won the Intercontinental title, had the longest reign in that title's history. Your current world heavyweight champion has had countless bangers during the decade. Great matches, great moments. His promo work has been improving, in my opinion. I think he's never disappointed me. I like that he's a heel that doesn't have to win because of outside interference. I mean, we even saw it in the Damian match where Finn did interfere, and he's like, well, no, I don't need you to interfere, and I'm going to kick you in the face now. So he's not a heel that has to cheat to win. I think that's refreshing for a heel character. So I'm going to go with Gunther as my first nomination.
All right. Richie, Gunther is on the table. Yes or no to the ring general?
Yeah, definitely. People forget too. I don't know if people know this. I don't think he was meant to, when he was doing the NXT run. I think that was just meant to be the incentive. He didn't really have any interest in going to the main roster because he really didn't really like to travel that much. So. Yeah, and I think he had to be convinced to kind of join the main roster. So, kudos to, but he's made the most of it, and he's had to go through his trial and tribulations. I don't know how eager he was to sort of, trim down. And I wasn't I like the big Gunther, But but he's made the most of it, and his promos are great. I think he's come a long way, and yeah, his matches are great. I love a big meaty match, and yeah, he's had a great year. I think he's established himself as a big star. So yeah, I think I'm sure he'll be champion multiple times over. So absolutely yes.
Yeah, JPO, yes or no to the ring general?
No, big yes, definitely on my list as well. I mean, what can you say? The historic IC title reigns, the match quality is there, the promos are pretty much there, and I can't wait for him, Logan Paul, to main event Mania.
Yeah, JB, yes or no to
But he's not going to
Gunther?
main event because
Right,
Rob
no,
and
no,
Roman are there.
cool.
Then you got WWE, so he's not going to main event. He's just going to be in the world title match.
Right.
So we're voting on whether this should just be on the list. Period.
Yeah, we will rank it later. We're just trying to get the 12 that will
Is
make
he
the
in your
actual
12?
list. Yeah, is he in your 12? Like, will
yeah.
you make your 12?
Oh yeah, for sure he would.
Okay.
The ring general. Yeah. The ring. Yeah, however he says that.
And around.
He's definitely on the list. All the things that they all said is all true.
No, I'm in full agreement on making a clean sweep. Yeah, between that NXT UK run, those matches with Dragunov. I'm still hoping for that third one, maybe in 2025 when he comes back. We got to get that third match at some point. It's got to happen. But the IT title, King of the Ring, world champion. I mean, he's only gone up and up and up, and his stock has just increased year over year. And he's one of the top guys right now. So I think he's a staple, and he should be on this list. So I'll make it a clean sweep. So Gunther will make the list, and I will pop these in the private chat as we go along, so you guys can see them when we go back to rank them. But yeah, Richie, who is your nomination?
Yeah. There you go. And I'll go. There we go. Roman Reigns. that was a really shitty chunky thing. I think Roman Reigns. I think his stock went up like in this sort of in this decade so far. Like he started off the year as as that sort of babyface was sort of kind of getting a bit over. And then obviously, March happened, and then he went away for a bit because of the, health. And then he comes back sort of unexpectedly as like this sort of badass heel, and he totally turns his career around, and you realize just how you get the hype. You realize how actually talented this dude is, and he should have been a heel. And the fact that. He should have been a heel like a long time before he actually turned heel. He was great in the role. I think he was a Paul Heyman guy. Works. He's on sort of limited schedule, but I think it works. I think he works as this special attraction. I think he's just got this great star quality, and now because he's turned babyface, it works better now because people are way more into him now. He's like one of the most popular stars on the roster, and he's just come across as a way bigger star than what they tried to do with him in the 2010s. So I think I think his stock has risen, and he's he's just a bigger star than what he was when they started the decade. So Roman Reigns has to be on here.
JPO, do you acknowledge Roman Reigns being on this list?
I do acknowledge my tribal chief. He would have been my first nomination as well. What can you say? 1,316 days. He completely revamped his character to the point of it. In the mid to late 2010s, we kind of were done with him. To us, just being fascinated by him here, we found a shtick that worked. I thought he absolutely belongs there.
All right, JB, do you acknowledge the tribal chief?
Of course I do. And to add what JPO said, he found a shtick that works. I believe he is probably the only person who effectively used the Thunderdome to get his character over as a heel, which is interesting to say. But during that time in the Thunderdome, he honed in on his character work so much that, everyone's fascinated by him. 13, 16, big time reign, acknowledge your tribal chief. He's OTC. Didn't have to change his character. All he had to do was leave, and now he's back as a babyface. Crazy.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a big yes for me. I mean, he's literally part of the hottest, like, long-term storytelling feud, they've done in a very, very long time. I think it's, if we had to vote right now of what probably, the best storyline has been of this era so far. I mean, most people would say this Bloodline feud, has been pretty amazing. The way they've stretched it out and been able to keep it fresh and interesting over the couple of years. And yeah, he's got yeah, like you guys said, he got over even more by not being on TV and people clamoring to see him again. Even after he lost, and organically work it. Yeah, how he kind of organically went from the biggest heel to the biggest babyface. So yeah, 100% he goes on the list. Jacob.
Yeah, I'll make it a clean sweep. I'll just echo everything that you guys said, and yeah, who knew that all Roman Reigns needed to get over with the fans again was a heel turn? Who would have thought that would have worked?
Yeah, not Vince. So, you can't turn my guy heel. Damn it! Even though they had a prime opportunity in like 2016 or whatever to do that, and they just didn't do it. It is what it is. JPO, who is your first nomination for this top 12? What you got?
So, what do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about Cody Rhodes. I want to talk about the man that ended the streak and told his story. He got to finish his story finally. To start back though at the decade though, he's a 3-time AWTT champ, helping bring that company to the forefront here. When he felt like he had nothing left to accomplish, he came back to WWE. It was a real freaking moment of Mania re-debut, one of the rare Mania re-debuts here. People were into it. People were singing his song. I actually held a tag title suit briefly for a little while here. We're finally becoming our world champion. What a moment it was. Mama got to hold the belt. He's on orange shoulders. It was good times, great memories. And I think we've only just begun. I think he's going to be still on this list at the end of the 2020s. I think we got a lot more fun to have with Cody Rhodes.
All right, JB, yay or nay to the American Nightmare?
Oh, that's a big yes. Everything that JPO said was true, and I think one of his biggest things that he did within all this whole time in the 2020s till now is the moments that he's created, the big moments. He I think honestly, and this isn't all the things he did in AEW was awesome. He's great in AEW, but when him coming back to the WWE solidified it because his return was a huge moment. Then you had literally one of the biggest moments that he had was when he took the jacket off in the Hell in a Cell, and you seen the bruise. To have that fantastic match with Seth Rollins. Then you go to the Royal Rumble moment, then you got WrestleMania where he lost, which we were all together seeing that. A lot of us here were watching, and we were like, "What?" And then to see him go on had the moments with Brock Lesnar, and then the moment with Jay in the press conference. For me, that's a moment I don't care. And then all the way to the heat, like I will literally still to this day. I've watched it about 4 times. Watched the main event of WrestleMania 40. The entrances, all of the happenings, and I still get teary-eyed when I will see it at the end. It's a moment. The moments that he's created is top notch, better than any other wrestler that's alive today. So big yes for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, no, I'll echo everything you guys said. Yeah, main eventing back-to-back WrestleManias, but in different ways with the same match, and having memorable moments in both of them. I predicted Roman winning that first one, by the way. Just pointing that out when we made our predictions that year. And then and winning back-to-back Rumbles. Just fully establishing himself as the top dog. And like I said, even at the beginning of this, when he was still in AEW, still being a top guy there and feuding with everybody over there, and just constantly just being one of the most talked about guys in the business. So yeah, it's a big yes for Cody. Jacob, yay or nay to the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a yes for me as well. Yeah, he started off the decade in AEW. Had some pretty good moments there with the TNT Championship. He's since he's returned in WWE, he's had 2 5-star matches. One with one in the Hell in a Cell with Rollins, and then that Backlash match with AJ. and as well as countless other great matches. I think his promo work is there. Yeah, like JPO said, I think come 5 years from now, we're probably still going to be talking about Cody as one of the best of the decade. So it's a pretty easy yes.
All right, Richie, you gonna clean sweep it or say no?
Yeah, no, it's pretty great story to think about it. There's a guy that left in like the mid, 2010s or whatever, to be like, hey, I'm more than just Stardust. Even though you play the Stardust character well, I would argue. And
According
then,
to Kevin Owens, this is his most interesting character he ever did. For that promo we cut backstage
yeah,
on that kid.
I would be able to tell that he hated it. I think he made the most of that. But then it's like he immediately became a huge factor on like the independents, like in debate in Impact, and then creating AEW. And you never think that I would when we first read that he was leaving, I thought it was like I thought it was a hoax because that's just crazy. Like him leaving a company he set up, and then then he showed up, and then he's just been just like hugely popular. He's turned his career around, hugely popular, and then having these great matches, and then having one of the the best matches of the year with Roman this year. The emotion, Cody's awesome, so he deserves to be on this list.
All right, so Cody Rhodes will be our third one on 12, and got 9 more spots to go. JB, you got one that can make that list. What are you going to throw out there?
So I have 2 that I want to really do, but I got to ask. We're not doing gender specific, right?
So this is all males. We will do a female one.
They're all males. Okay.
So, we're not doing females.
So that covers that for me. Okay. Well, I'm going to throw it out there. As much as I'm a noted AEW disliker, I'll say, you can't deny this guy. He his 2020s till now has been filled with world championships and a complete hostile takeover of the company. I'm throwing out Mr. John Moxley. Got to put him out on the list. He has been a 4-time AEW world champion, and the reign began in 2020, literally right in the beginning of 2020 in his first reign. And he's been there for the company when they needed him. He's stayed on top of the company and stayed relevant no matter what he's done. He's also an international champion, which he won that in the main event of a pay-per-view. So it's too bad that he got dropped on his skull and then dropped on his skull a second time. I won't be negative, but John Moxley, he's been tearing the house down, and he's been literally the most successful wrestler in that company to date. And there's a reason why he's on his 4th reign as the world champion right now. And so I choose Mox.
Mox. All right. Yeah. And I'll say yes to Mox. Like you said, multi-time AEW world champion here. So that should immediately kind of qualify him just for this list for these couple of years. Always hovering around that main event scene, being that reliable guy you can have anybody kind of feud with, whether he's a heel or a face. Obviously kind of started out more of a face for a little while. And now he's leaning more into the heel thing, which I think he kind of works better as anyways. He had that banger of a barbed wire exploding death match. That kicked off the year properly, this decade. So I can go back and watch that on Max now. I'm very excited to watch the fireworks happen. That's fun. The fans have always been behind him, and he's always been still an attraction, in AEW. And it kind of got back to his roots, of after being watered down as Dean Ambrose for a little while, in the late 2010s, WWE getting thrown around, finally kind of reestablishing his love of it. So I'll say yes to Mox. Jacob, do you say yay or nay to Moxley here?
I say yes. He's on my list. Which I didn't rank my list. I was just like, who are the 12 that and then we'll figure out my ranking later with you guys. But so far, everyone's been on my list so far. Moxley has kind of, been that go-to guy in AEW. 4-time champion. Like JB3 said, he had the international championship as well. Great on the mic, great in the ring. And he's really, helped keep AEW where it's at. So,
Richie, yay or nay to John Moxley?
No, definitely, yes. I think John Moxley's great. I think he's been a huge asset to that company. He's Mr. Reliable, as Jim3 alluded to. But yeah, like I like his character now. Like he's a badass, and you believe he's a badass. That was my issue with his character in WWE. He was called Lunatic Fringe, but he never did anything that would be lunatic worthy. He was just weird. He was just portrayed as weird. But now he's just. But like now he's sort of just but yeah, I love his character. Like I like his mic work, and I think he puts together like banger matches. So I understand why they it's just like they leave him to champion because he's really really good, and I enjoy seeing it. I enjoy seeing him bleed 5 minutes into a match. Why not? I don't care if it's on a Rampage or a Collision. I like watching it from a wrestle. So yes, absolutely.
JPO, clean sweep it for Moxley, or are you gonna shoot him down here?
Oh,
what you got?
No, it's a hell yes for Moxley. Yeah, no, I definitely. I guess it actually might be my next nomination. First guy, by the way, to not only be the second, no one's even been a third or fourth champ. He had an international title run, and let's not forget too, world title runs in both New Japan and GCW too.
Yeah. All right. So John Moxley does make the list in that fourth position. Let's swing it around. I'm gonna throw out a guy that didn't come back to wrestling, for a couple years into this time period, but has been the talk of the town since he came back in both companies. I think you got to have CM Punk on here, and we had him on, the last list, but I think it's deserving so here because he comes back to AEW. It's a big deal when he re-debuted in Chicago. He immediately was kind of talk that, it was a big deal him coming back, feuding with MJF, having that really fun feud there, feuding with Moxley, feuding with all the top guys over there. Of course, having the incident, that led to, him leaving the company, but it was one of the biggest news stories, of that thing. And it was a big deal when it was, controversial how it all went down and all speculating as to whether or not he'd even come back to wrestling. And then, that re-debut at Survivor Series was a huge moment that nobody knew about, pulling it back out. And say what you will about, he hasn't had that many matches in WWE, but he's always been and still in these top feuds with Drew McIntyre, with Rollins, just always still hovering around that main event and just being still a top guy as far as being somebody that we're just still discussing, and he's always in the news and we're always kind of interested in what he's going on. So I think just for his star status and aura alone, he still has to be on this list. But see what you guys say. Jacob, what do you say about CM Punk?
Yeah, this is one that I was struggling with because like you said, hasn't been around for much of the decade. But when he did return, man, did he make an impact? He didn't show up on Impact.
They wanted it,
but he could have. He still could if WWE and TNA's whatever. The Drew McIntyre feud probably, kind of a spoilers for where I might go for feud of the year. But his feud with Drew was fantastic. I think. His stuff in AEW was really good. He hasn't wrestled a lot, since he came back to WWE. I mean, he did have that injury, but he was still around. He was still cutting promos. He was still involved, and I think it's been really good. I'm gonna say yes. I don't think he's gonna be pretty high up on the list for me personally, but I think he is one of the 12. Like, I think his star power alone and just the impact that he's made, returning twice, deserves a spot on the list.
All right, Richie, what do you say about CM Punk? Does he deserve to be on this list?
I was sort of in that sort of quandary like Barber was, but ultimately, I think because of the impact he's made and like the future and like the matches he's been in, have been largely pretty damn good. I can't deny like the actual impact he's had in the world of wrestling. So like when it comes to ranking again, he might fall into the middle or like towards the bottom, but I think he still deserves to be on this list. So I'd say yes.
JPO, what do you say about CM Punk? Does he deserve to be on this list? What do you think?
I'm a big CM Punk guy. He might not be as high as I would like him to be, but no, I think he definitely deserves to be. I mean, talk of the town. It was a real moment when he came back. Like, it was a rare fucking brought tears that one dude's eyes moment. Like it was something, man. And then somehow, I mean, it unfortunately didn't end great, but he had some fun stuff in between. That MJF feud was the bomb. Ricky Starks match was really cool. Or it would have been the Ricky Starks match and it'd be Daniel Bryan. But he somehow repeated that moment by having a really cool WWE debut. Another moment where you're like, I didn't know if that was gonna ever happen. He did twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JB, how about the CM Punk?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was for a minute I was thinking it was my pick, but no. Big yes. He no wasted movement there. He has done the least amount out of everyone that's on the list, but he has made probably the most impact out of everybody that's on the list. Like JPO said, his return to AEW was great. Good feuds in AEW. And then, everything that happened negatively actually probably helped his return actually to the WWE. But then he has this monster, unfortunately he gets injured. But he could have just went home and stayed home and not been seen, but he decided to stick around and done this thing with Drew McIntyre, was become the feud of the year. Probably could be a contender for match of the year. But the hell they made the Hell in a Cell match actually like mean something. It meant something incredible. So I say big yes to Punk being on the list. I don't even think that I would have him that low on the list. I think his relevancy has been incredible. And it's crazy because you think about it right now with everything that's happening moving into WrestleMania. If we were to do this list 6 months into the year, he'd probably even get higher on the list based off of what's about to happen. So big yes.
Okay. We are 5 for 5 so far, having gone around the horn. Everybody's got their nominations with clean sweep so far. No controversy yet. We'll see if as we get deeper in the list what happens. But Mr. Barber, we are back around to you, sir. So what's your next nomination?
Yeah, and this is probably the first one where people are going to go,
We'll see.
I'm going to go with and if you would have told me at the beginning of the decade that I would be nominating this guy as one of the 12 best, I would have even called myself crazy. I'm going to go with Christian. I think Christian has been fantastic since he's returned. It's crazy that I'm thinking that a 51-year-old is doing some of the best work of his career character-wise. Sure, the in-ring quality might not be where it was for him, 10, 15 years ago, but I still think he's putting on some quality matches. I think the gimmick that he's got right now is absolutely working. I think he's doing great, and I think he's one of the bright spots in AEW right now. And if you would have told me that he would have been a TNA World Champion, a 2-time TNT Champion, a Trios Champion, and who knows, a potential future AEW World Champion, I would have said no, that's absolutely crazy. But those are all possibilities. Some of those, and so yeah, I'm gonna go with Christian and see what happens.
All right, so we'll see where this one goes. It's may or may not be a sweep, or maybe the first controversial one. But Richie, yay or nay to the man who's obsessed with people's dads, Christian Cage? What do you think?
Damn, this is a demi-bow. This is hard because I've loved Christian since he came back. And I've always been a huge fan of Christian. His TNA run, like when he first came in, was legendary. I think he's a hell of a talent. He's very, very entertaining. But yeah, like his mic work has been stellar. His heel work has been absolutely amazing. And yeah, I think hadn't he not turned heel, I would absolutely say he'd probably know because he was lost in the shuffle, doing nothing. Oh man, and like I don't think he's missed much of a step in ring. To be honest, I think he's remarkably pretty good. I'll say yes, but it might be towards the end of the list for me. And yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he won the world title. I wouldn't put money on it though, but it's another round possibility. But I'll say yes, but he'll be low.
JPO, yay or nay to the head of the patriarchy?
Only thing that makes me hesitate is he's right on that cusp, but I think he deserves to be on it, man. He has been so entertaining. I've loved this new father turn. I love him. I love the turtleneck, even in the ring. I think he's had such a great run. I'm gonna give it a yes.
JB, yay or nay to Christian Cage making this list?
Again, very, very close. I'll say this. I love everything he's been doing too. I mean, he revitalized his entire career. And not many people can say that. I'm gonna, you know what? It doesn't matter at this point, but I mean, my opinion matters. I know you guys value my opinion. You know what? I'm gonna, you guys won me over. I'm gonna have to say yes, barely, because I'm looking at the people on my list. I have a lot of people that would be ahead of him, but then I'm looking at it again, and I'm like, well, maybe not that person, maybe not that person, maybe not that person. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah, barely, but yeah.
No, I'm in that same position, kind of like Richie, where I think he'd be outside of like my top 10. Like, I think I have a pretty definitive like top 10 people, and then I had a few on here that like if they get brought up, maybe a yes, make an argument, yeah, here and there. And I think Christian was like one of those like extra 3 or 4, that I think is like borderline. But give me a good argument, and I'm there. And yeah, you know what? I'll throw him on because I agree with you, Bar. I think he's doing some of the best work of his entire career, and that's saying a lot given the fact that he's been wrestling for what, almost 30 years or something at this point. I mean, like, or maybe more than that. Like, he's been wrestling for a long time, like since like the mid 90s essentially, and he's doing some of the best stuff he's ever done. Maybe at least for me personally, like since like his Captain Charisma, like Peep stuff of like 03, 04, like that was some of my favorite stuff. But yeah, like I said, TNA stuff was good. But yeah, this like going after the dads and the patriarchy stuff, like I think he's really entertaining, and I think he's having fun with it, and he's still solid in the ring. Yeah, every time you get him in there, he'll be good at, like, he's in that 4-way, right? So like he's gonna be pretty solid even in that 4-way coming up at World's End, right? So, or is he not? Or no?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Christian.
Yeah.
It's Christian, Hangman, and
that's what I thought. Yeah, he's part of that. Okay, so yeah, I think he'll still be solid in there. So you know what? I'll give it a yes. So that actually makes it a clean sweep, Jacob. So
he's just gonna wait outside the ring at World's End and then wait for whoever does win, and then he's like, oh wait, I have this contract
right afterwards. Yeah, bring a referee and get him right in. So all right.
My favorite Christian moment just quickly was when he kicked his own daughter out of the building, said security to kick her out. She's uncredentialed.
Yeah. Yeah. So Christian, takes our 6th spot out of 12 here. So there you go, Jacob. You got it.
I wanted to do it now rather than later.
No, you don't want to wait on that borderline stuff. Yeah. So Richie, you got another one for the list. What you got?
Yeah, I can't really do it properly, but here we go. I want to swerve when I'm driving. Swerve Strickland. He started off the year in a pretty like not great faction. He was the best part of it though. Then he gets fired for very controversially gets fired. So after and then gets picked up by AEW. Like, oh cool, he might have. And then I thought like he'd probably have a decent run there. I never thought he'd be like world championship, but man, he leveled up, especially when he came heel. Man, he's been phenomenal. He's had great matches. His feud with Hangman Page one of the best feuds of the year. It's been insane. A great wrestler, and just charisma for days, and just him with Prince Nana is a great fit. And just hate for the guy, like from being starting the decade off being like having no job to being AEW World Champion. That's amazing, and just being I feel like a huge star, like in their first black world champion as well. So I think Swerve should be on this list.
JPO, whose house is it? Swerve's house for this list or no? What you
got? This is another tough one because I feel like we're kind of scratching the surface of his world title, runs and whatnot could be, because I feel like we got one nice juicy run. Other than that, like he also was a guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle just a little bit in AEW. So it's definitely close to being it. I'm on the edge. I'm looking at my list, like the last couple I have on my list. Because he got to the main event and maybe the last couple of my list didn't necessarily do it, I'll give it a yes.
JB, do you swerve when you drive? Well, I mean, that's just a question, but do you say yes or no to Swerve on this list?
So one of the things I used to do, just a little side story, speaking of Swerve when I drive,
Mm.
is back when I used to be an alcohol drinker, I used to drink liquor, I used to get drunk sometimes. When I would get too intoxicated, I would like to play GTA 5 and then take my character to the bar and then go get drunk in the game. And then I would like to get in the car in the game, drunk on the game, but in real life drunk, and drive drunk while I was drunk. And I definitely swerved when I drove then. Um, so I do like Swerve. For me, this is I'm the first one. I'm the first one. I'm gonna say no,
Mm.
and it doesn't have anything to do. But the only thing it has, the only reason that I say no is of one person that I have on the list. Swerve would be 13 for me. Um, Based
Okay.
off, actually, he would have been 12 if I wasn't convinced with Christian. But some really, really good points about Christian. And yeah, I think that you go back to this list a year from now, 2 years from now, I think there's a lot more that he'll be doing. I don't think that that one title run is going to be his one title run. I think he's going to have multiple title runs. One of the biggest things that I noticed is that when he popped up backstage, I seen a clip recently of I think it was Dynamite. He popped backstage, and as soon as he appeared on screen, the crowd went ballistic. So and they were like Swerve's house. So um, for me, I'm gonna say no, like really on the edge, just literally just because of the people that I have above him, I feel are on that list right now. But I think you do this list a year from now, 2 years from now, he's on the list. So I'm gonna say no, but more of a not yet.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes because only I think it's one of the great organic success stories of the 2020 so far. Like you said, Richie started out like getting dropped by NXT, like kind of unceremoniously, and then getting into AEW, but kind of floundering for a little while. Like remember that Keith Lee feud that like never went anywhere? that was still a thing. Still waiting for that match that like never happened. Just kind of floating around, having good matches, but yeah, not being super over yet. And then getting Nana with him, which I think at first we all thought like that's weird. Like why is Prince Nana like with him? And didn't know if it would work. And then it ends up being like one of the most entertaining things on the card, and like him getting super over just week by week by week, getting over with the matches with Nana, with the charisma, like really finding his character, finding his charisma, and finding his confidence. And then so much so they finally pulled the trigger on him, winning the world title, having that feud with Paige, and having some of the goddamn most insane matches you've ever seen with Hangman Page. Even just that first match that wasn't even like a death match, like just a nutty match, and then the death match and the cage match, like all that stuff has been awesome, and he's been one of the most entertaining guys I look forward to every match he has. So I'm going to say yes because I think it's a great success story of this decade so far. Jacob.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Also, he's probably lower on my list because I do think we haven't seen the best of him in this decade yet. I think he can still go even higher, but he has like his history. He's had one of the best trajectories of the decade. I mean, it's kind of fallen a little bit, but I think he's over enough. He can't get over enough, and I think he's talented enough to get back up on that upwards trajectory. Yeah, his feud with Hangman, I think, will go down as one of the all-time feuds. I think it's fantastic. And his world title reign was such a good moment. I think people were so happy to see that. And as a fellow Washingtonian, any success story coming out of the great state of Washington, I'm on board with. So I'll give it a yes.
All right. So swerves his way into our 7th spot on this list. So we've had all have gotten in so far. So we'll see if any of these don't quite hit. But we got a couple of spots left. We got 5 spots left. JPO, what you got next for your next nomination? We're gonna throw out there.
He might be a scumbag, but he's my scumbag, and I hope he's your scumbag too. I gotta go with my boy Maxwell Jacob Friedman at MJF. I would like to nominate here. The promos have always been there. It's just been hella entertaining from the indies to coming up now here in AEW. International champion. Fun tag team title run with Adam Cole. I did weird because of injuries and the booking with Adam Cole, but it was fun while it lasted here. Good world title run here. And again, I think we're just scratching the surface of what this guy can bring to the table.
Yeah, JB3, what do you say about MJF?
I think he's a rising star still. I think that it's unfortunate that the feud that he was in with Adam Cole ended or is still technically going on, but it was absolutely horrible. A lot of it had to do with bad writing. A lot of it had to do with unfortunate circumstances. You can't deny the fact that an injury can really disaffect something. It's not their fault. Again, with same thing with Swerve for me. I think there's just other names that I would put above him, and it just didn't go on my list. So for me personally, it's going to be a no. I do think he does cut a good promo. I think that, he's good in the ring. I just don't think we've seen enough of it. And I think that it's interesting with him. I think if there wasn't so many names that I have above him on this list, he would easily be on this list. But I feel like just because of that reason alone, like I said, that Swerve would be my 13. He would probably tie MJF. They'd be fighting over number 13 for me, to be honest. So I'm gonna have to throw a no in there.
Okay. I'm going to say yes because, again, I think it's another great organic story of a guy who didn't have an establishment in WWE or any other promotion beforehand, getting himself over through sheer will and sheer charisma and making himself a star and being a star both as a face or a heel. We've seen him be a top guy in both aspects. And yeah, with whoever he's feuding with, he's always been an attraction, and a star. Like I think the first time I really started noticing him was that stuff with Regal, before Regal left, like those back and forth promos and whatnot, and really getting himself out there and going toe to toe with some of these guys on the microphone, and just really, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about mic work? He's had some of the most memorable promos of this decade so far that you could just watch over and over again. So even just the star power and the charisma, he's shown me a lot in the ring lately too. I think I was almost like with Jacob, initially where he wasn't impressing me a lot in the ring initially, but the last year or so, I think he's had great matches, a year or two, and he's really impressed me even in the ring. So I think he's one of the most improved wrestlers over these last 4 or 5 years. So I'm going to say yes, he's on my list. Jacob?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I wasn't a big fan of him when he first started. I thought his promo work was just a lot of him yelling to get his point across. His in-ring work, I think, was average at best. He has improved, I think. I did like when he was, his face run with Adam Cole. I thought was really fun. Man, I'm gonna give it a slight no.
Okay, so this is right on the border. Richie, comes out to you for this one.
How much do you like me, JP?
You're one of my best friends, Richie. I love you. You're the best. You're beautiful.
Yeah. I've been constantly impressed by MJF. I think he's one of the best talkers, going today. And I reckon if we did we did a best on the mic draft, and obviously he was on there. I think he'll go down as one of the best talkers in honestly wrestling. I think he's that good. I think he's phenomenal talent. I first saw him when he had in his later run in MLW, was towards the end of his run there. I'm like, this guy's got something. And I think he's just gone from strength to strength. I also thought he was maybe he was good in the ring, but he's definitely improved that as well. I think he's fantastic. It's unfortunate that he's settled with one of the worst storylines in AEW at the moment. But hopefully that that gets resolved soon. But I can't he's a hot commodity. If he we're never gonna know, but I can't imagine how much money AEW gave him to stay. Because WWE would have, I'm sure WWE would have
they would have picked him up almost immediately. Yeah.
WWE would have offered him a lot. I'm sure they could have done I'm sure he'll end up there eventually. And MJF, is suited for that. So I'm I'm going to say yes, and because he had that really good match with Bryan Danielson, so like it's in my mind as well. So I got to say yes. He's one of the big, huge future stars. Well, he's a star, but you know.
Okay, so that was the closest one so far, 3-2. But MJF just squeaks in on that list and makes the 12. So, yeah, we've got 4 spots remaining on this list. JB, back to you, sir. What's your next nomination?
Oh my gosh, this has been so AEW heavy in the past 3 picks. I was almost like, are these guys going to forget some of the crazy, awesome WWE wrestlers that's been there lately? And I'm going to throw one out. Now, on my list, I have this person. I have 2 people ranked really close, but I'm going to bring up one specifically based off of, well, they're both pretty hot right now, but this guy right here has main evented 2 WrestleManias. He hasn't had any titles, but he's kept himself relevant throughout this whole process. We talked about him earlier. He makes one move seem like the most dangerous move in the entire industry. And I mean, he actually main evented a WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin in this decade. He main evented and actually, yeah, won the undisputed tag title. So he did win that title. So I forgot about that. And he is the current self-proclaimed Winged Eagle WWE champion. I think he's firing on all cylinders, and I think that he's been doing that. He's been the guy that's been consistently going up against the Bloodline. He's been in and out of the top story of the entire like WWE throughout this whole time, and now he is probably it could be argued that he is coming in to be the most popular person currently in the WWE if you take all things into consideration. Of course, I'm talking about Kevin Owens, KO himself. Kevin Owens is my pick. I think that this 2020 to now, he has just been killing it. He's been the opposer to the Bloodline. He has main evented multiple pay-per-views. Like I said, 2 WrestleManias, one against Stone Cold Steve Austin. No one could even come close to doing that alone. And he was the one that got to do that. So Kevin Owens.
Yeah, this is interesting. He's another one that's like on the border just because he's one of the most consistent guys there as far as like if you need somebody to feud with, if you need somebody to have a title match with, he's there. As we just saw, we have a Saturday Night's Main Event. Yeah, he's always solid on the mic. He's always solid on the ring. Yeah, he's always kind of hovering around that main event spot. I'll give it to you. I'll give it a slight yes, but I'll say this, JB, he's going to be lower on the list for me personally. I'll just say that. But he would be on there. So I'll give it a slight yes. Jacob?
Oh, if MJF didn't make the list, I would be giving Kevin Owens a yes. But there are 4 other guys that I have on my list that I think I would put over Kevin Owens. And since there's only 4 spots left, it's a reluctant no. I think he's great. I think he's great in the ring, great on the mic, and I think this heel turn is the start of what could be like a legendary run. I think. Ask me in a year from now, and I think there's an argument for maybe the top half of this list. It's a reluctant no. I hate that I'm saying no. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll see what happens. Richie, you're an A to KO.
Yeah, I love Kevin Owens. I think he's fantastic. He's a great deal, but also and he can be a great face. He's just great on mic. Can be funny when he's trying to be as well. And just a great wrestler. I think he's been hampered by inconsistent booking over the years. I feel that stat that they had. I think that there was a stat where he hasn't won a singles title in 8 years. That's criminal. That shouldn't happen. And I just feel like while that moment with Austin is wonderful, it's great, and that should be a hell of a moment. I just don't. I think there's more people on this list that have had consistently better, had a better decade. So I'm gonna do what JPO did to me and leave it up to him.
Well, maybe it's appropriate, JPO, that you got to decide whether or not your cousin makes the list. Does your cousin make this list, JPO?
Don't make the cousin joke, because unfortunately, my thought process is similar to Jacob and Richie. I had him on kind of my short list, and then like I let Swerve in, I let other people in, and then also too the people I have, I just think kind of were more main eventers. Unfortunately, Owens is great. He's so good with everything you give him. I fucking love him to death. But I just feel like the other ones have maybe just done that much more. So it's a slight no. It's the ever slightest of no's.
Oh my god!
Oh, the first one that does not
That's
make the
crazy.
list of the nominations is Kevin Owens. Does not
So
make
let
the list.
Someone who main evented WrestleMania twice gets beat out by MJF and Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable to me, but that's okay.
All right, that's what it is.
Would he have been the main event though if WrestleMania stuck to one night?
I don't know, but that's the reason it's 2 nights. You'd have to take it away from Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair too. With that
No, it's
logic,
totally fair. It's totally fair. I would too.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, KO does not make the list with a 3-2 vote, just squeaking out there. So these spots are still got 4 spots on the list. Back to me. I think we got to have a guy on the list that, has been an attraction since he kind of jumped back in. He was in and out of AEW a little bit, and he's kind of just a featured presentation, bouncing back and forth from Japan. And now he's gotten to the point where we literally at the end of the year now have to have a completely separate list for the best Will Ospreay matches as opposed to just match of the year, because goddamn it, he's going to have his own category, and he's become essentially Mr. Pay-Per-View and the guy you have to see all of his matches like Rob Van Dam was back in the day. Will Ospreay, I think we should probably make this list. He has probably had more insane, nutty matches in the last 2 years than just about anybody maybe on this list. Just the ring work, is he the attraction that like Roman Reigns is per se, like ticket wise? Probably not, but is he the guy that most like you want to see damn near every match he has, because otherwise you might miss something? He's that guy, and he's that dude who has that aura about him, and just he's sort of that must see guy in the ring right now. So I think for that reason, Ospreay should be on this list. But we'll see what you guys think. Jacob, what do you say about Will Ospreay?
Yeah, no, he was one of the first few names that I wrote down when making my list. I was starting to wonder, is he going to get brought up anytime soon? Every time we discuss a pay-per-view card with him on it, it's like, all right, and then now the match of the night, the potential match of the night, another potential match of the year candidate. He kills it in the ring every single time. I think he absolutely deserves to be on the list.
All right, Richie, what do you say to Ospreay?
Well, when promoting this on other shows, I'd call this list Ospreay and Friends, because I think the more obvious one. That's why I sort of like skirting. I mean, he'd come up eventually. I'm sure if he hadn't been brought up by the time I came back around to me, I'd just brought him up. So, absolutely. Like that. Like the dude has like some of the most consistent, great matches that anybody. He's so fun to watch. He just had another match of the year candidate like literally this week. Darby Allin. If you've not seen that, also the Darby Allin spot where he does a cover drop on the apron and misses, that is so gross. But
unfortunately, I might have to wait about 2 weeks till they put the last 2 months of Dynamites on Max, and then I can go back and watch the whole thing. I've only seen highlights.
You can see that clip. You see the clip floating around somewhere though. Ooh. I don't know. And Darby Allin won. I don't know how that guy is not walking. It's still walking. He's amazing. He just makes everything look so simple. He's just so so graceful in the ring. He's got charisma. The dude's just a star. Absolutely deserves to be on the list.
JPO, Mr. Ospreay, yay or nay?
Great matches in Japan now. Finally, like you said, we've been high on him this entire year. So this guy could easily be a top fiver. at the end of the decade, but I think he still belongs in it for now. So yeah.
Yeah, JB3, Will Ospreay.
I would have said no. I'm not as big of a Will Ospreay fan as other people are. I think he's had some fantastic matches so far. I think obviously in New Japan he's a G1 he's a G1 guy. I think that he's been very successful in New Japan before he showed up in AEW in this decade. I think that with his title runs, he had a situation where he was I think he beat Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and somebody else. Bryan Danielson, was it? I don't know if he beat him. I can't remember, but he beat 3 super top guys in the same year, and he made a big deal out of it. Or it was Okada. That was the other guy. So Kenny Omega, Okada, and Chris Jericho. Which whatever you say what you want about Chris Jericho, he's whack, but he's just old. He needs to retire. But as far as on this list, like I said, I'm again maybe
I really want to see your long list when we get to the honorable mentions after we get to 12. I want to hear your whole list.
Well, yeah, Kevin Owens is on there, but I guess he wasn't.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. Whenever once we get to 12, before we rank them, we'll go around and get the honorable mentions before we actually rank the 12. I want to hear your full list.
Yeah, well, I actually did have Will Ospreay on my list, but I had to erase some because of Christian and Swerve. So I actually had him on my list, but he would have edged off because of the other people on it. He was actually on my actual list. He was down at the bottom, but so I'm not gonna be like a hater. His style isn't for everybody. There are matches
Jim Cornette.
Him in. There's matches I've seen him in that I don't like, but there's matches I've seen him in that I think are the best matches I've ever seen. So I'm not gonna just sit there and try to act like he's trash. No, he's great. Just sometimes not my whole cup of tea. Maybe there's other things in wrestling that I look for sometimes than just 14 finishers that get kicked out of, 18 flips, but like I said,
I sometimes just like to have those matches where I just marvel at what the fucking guy can do and how smooth he can do
it.
And
that's true. And I'll say that he's now getting to the point in his career where that's not going to be the case anymore. There's certain things that he's not able to do anymore, and it's not okay. I think he's going to become better because of it. I hope. As far as honing his style to go
and doing things more strategically, breaking it out when he needs to.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
He's already addressed that in interviews, just like in AJ Styles, just like any wrestler that ages. Even Ricochet has said each year, I'm all right. That double flip and moonsault, that's out of the buck. That's out of the Rolodex. You know what I mean?
Just don't let Ricochet cut a promo.
It wasn't that bad. It was the writing that sucked. They made him look like a bitch. They made him look like a dumbass bitch.
They right that? Right.
That storyline reminded me of when Jericho turned babyface because Cal's family turned on him, even though he was about to join them anyway.
All right, we got 3 spots left, and we are back around to the top of the horn here. Mr. Barber, we are back around to you. 3 spots left. Can you get one of those on here right now?
There's one person that better make it. Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if I have one. This might just be one that's only on my personal 12. But I think he's fantastic. I think he has gotten over with the crowd super well. I think people love him. Orange Cassidy is my pick. I think he's one that's surprised me throughout the decade. He had that great, All Atlantic / International Championship reign where he was defending it nonstop. I think he had to have had at least 50 defenses of that title, and I think every single match, not all bangers, but they were all, I think, serviceable. They were all good title matches. Most of them on TV. He's been inserted into that main event scene, and I think his character I think is just a lot of fun. I think he's someone that's been consistent. I can't remember him being out for an insane amount of time. I think it was what was it? It was the match with was it the Ospreay match that he had? People were like, oh, why is that match happening? And then it kind of just blew us away. Given that Ospreay was involved, so I mean that's a factor. But yeah, he's one that surprised me. He's been around for most of the decade. And yeah, been consistent, and I think he's put on some great matches. I love his character work. I think he's just a fantastic character. Again, this is one where I feel like it might just be in my personal 12. But I didn't want to wait till the honorable mentions to shout him out. I also wanted to hear other people's opinions. So yeah, Orange Cassidy.
Richie, will this list be freshly squeezed for you? What you got?
How many spots we have left again?
We have 3 spots remaining.
This is one of those 3 spots, by the way.
That's how it works. We know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This might have been easier putting up earlier, actually. Because the fact that like the last 3 spots, I've got like there's a couple that I definitely should be here. He's sort of like outside of it, like just outside of the top 12. So I'm gonna say a slight no, but I appreciate the bringing him up.
JPO, will you get the thumbs up or the thumbs down? What do you got?
Jesus, Barber, really? Orange Cassidy? Hell yeah, Orange Cassidy. That's a thumbs up for me. No, I'm sorry. He came to mind and he tracks everything for me. 326 days was the first reign, 145 days for his second reign, over 30 defenses. That was just for the first reign again. Like he actually defended the title, was pretty consistently match of the night, including when I went twice. Like the dude held his own and is still about to main event in a pay-per-view in a week from now. Like I really think he's had a great decade so far, from the dude that literally when AEW first started was a cameo. You know what I mean? Like like Orange Cassidy in the background to fucking main eventing shows. Like that's a pretty cool trajectory. So yeah, I had him legitimately on my list.
To be fair, I love it. Just want to have that.
Oh my gosh.
What did you say, Richie? I wasn't really listening to you.
Anyways, JB. Orange Cassidy. I didn't hear it either. Go ahead.
Absolutely not. I don't even hate Orange Cassidy. I think he's fine, but just like 3 spots left, I'm looking at all these other names and I'm like, I'm starting to think like, are you guys like? I thought I was an AEW like hater, but like I'm starting to think, you guys WWE haters or something? Like, where's all these?
I like good wrestling, and he gave me good wrestling this past like few years.
No, and that's fine. No, he's great. I don't mind Orange Cassidy at all, but I just can't see him being better than these other guys. We're talking about the best.
Well, I think for me, I think the match quality has just started to pick up in WWE, whereas at the beginning of the decade, it was like average at best. Where I feel like AEW has been consistent all decade.
Well, that's all opinions. Like they said, different styles.
Exactly.
People.
This is.
You know, I know. I'm just saying, like, you know, when you say, well, there's good matches, but we're not talking about the best matches. We're talking about the best wrestlers. And I know what that seems. You say, well, they wrestle matches. But I guess when I think of it, I think of different things than just, have you had a good match? I think of, what have you done for the business, in the sense that how relevant are you in the business? What accolades do you have in the business? And yeah, like JPL did shout out, he had a long reign with the international title. I think he made the international title what it is. Especially with his first reign, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that he's over with the crowd, the AEW crowd. For me, like I think about the early parts of the decade. Like again, I think he's another one for me that if you ask me 2 years from now, I'll probably put him on the list because I see him just doing more great things than what he's already done. But just I can't put him on my list. I can't say yes to him right now based off of the other names that I'm looking at.
This, I gotta say no. He's not on my list. I don't consider him like that kind of star for like this like decade. Like he's not one of the guys I think of when I think of like the top stars of the decade so far. I know it's another kind of relative success story, you know, from being kind of like a comedy dork to like being taken a little more seriously, but I still don't take him that seriously. You know, it's like some big contender. Like, I mean, yeah, he had a long run with a belt that, you know, out of 95 belts in AEW, and he kept one of the mid-card ones for like a year. That's fine. But like, you know, there was 5 other mid card belts, at the same time. Eddie Kingston had like 3 of them at one point. Like, like what the fuck are we doing? Like, I couldn't get, I forgot which one he had, at one point. Like, I get it. He's not one. It's more like one of those surprising things that match he had at Osprey was like, oh, okay, that was really good. Like that was surprising, but he's never been a guy I go out of my way to see or get excited about his matches. Like it's always just more like, oh, okay, he had a good match. But like outside of that match and 1 or 2 other ones, I can't think of a lot of like standout matches to me personally. I always thought they were just like, all right. So I'm gonna break the tie and say no to Orange Cassidy. So unfortunately, he's not gonna make the list. Richie, back to you.
All right. Look, James would be happy that I'm going back to WWE. I'll bring up a guy that like I think was sort of one of the probably say like the MVPs of the pandemic sort of era. And
MVP does not deserve to be on this list.
I was waiting for you to make that a guy that like is in the future. He was in like arguably one of the future of the year. He's got a great Twitter game as well. I'm going to Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre is fantastic. I think he constantly has great matches. He's charismatic as hell, and again so a great story. He's a guy. Last time he was on like main roster, he was relegated to being a fucking dork. In 3MB, he went out, made a name for himself. He got signed. He got signed back. It was it took a little while there. He was splitting a little bit, but once he sort of got fired as a baby phase, he was off the races here, and he's been great. Like I enjoy watching. I just love watching Drew. I think another title run is in his future. I think he's just got star quality all the way through him. I think people really pause when he won the Royal Rumble. I think I just think he's I think he should be on the list somewhere. So I'm going to Drew McIntyre.
Okay, so JPO, what do you say about Drew?
If Cassie admitted no, but he didn't make it, so I got a spot open, and so he was on it originally, so now he's back on it. So yes.
My brain. What?
JB, we're back to WWE with Drew McIntyre on the table. What you got?
Started out 2020, winning the Royal Rumble, went to WrestleMania 36, won the WWE Championship, had a really underrated feud with Randy Orton for it, became a 2-time champion. Then, since then, has been, also another person who's been fighting the bloodline. It's one of his main things right now, where he's actually trying to take them all out again. Clash of the Castle superstar. Best feud of the year was CM Punk, also now world heavyweight champion, even though it lasted for 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Definite yes, he's on my list. I think he is, and what Richie said about him leaving and coming back, I mean, making a name for himself and coming back. So it seems like as soon as the decade started, he was like on this trajectory of top star. When you look at Drew McIntyre and you see the things that he does, you're like, that's a top guy. He can always be a top guy. So he's a definite yes for me.
Yeah, no, he's on my list. I probably would have brought him up had it got back around to me. Like you said, JB, just starting out, you can't start out much better of 2020 of this timeline than winning the Rumble and then going out to WrestleMania and win the title. Like, even though unfortunately it was a little unceremoniously in front of a non-crowd because of COVID, so not getting quite that big moment like he probably should have. But still doing that, staying near the top of the card pretty consistently, even in some of the lower feuds, still staying like very relevant, consistently kind of tweaking his character. And this like troll Drew McIntyre over the last year of just like, trolling online and being a thorn in people's side. It's like so good. And again, much like Christian, he's kind of doing some of the best work of his career over this last year. And yeah, another like success story of being beaten down by Vince and some of the bad booking, having to reestablish himself as a pure wrestler, on like getting involved and PWG, like some of these indie promotions in the late 2010s, and then coming back and finding himself again in WWE. I think it's a cool story. So yeah, I'll say yes to Drew. Barber.
Part of me wants to do a spite vote and just say no because Richie said no, but I can't. Drew was Drew was on my list. Yeah, I think he started off the decade hot, winning the Rumble, winning the championship, and then I think he's just been consistently one of the best parts of WWE since then. And I think his feud with Punk. We've mentioned it a few times now. Potential feud of the year, at least feud of the year as far as WWE goes. So I think Drew deserves to be on the list.
Okay, so Drew makes the list. JPO, we've got 2 spots left. Can you snag one of those with your next nomination?
I think we have 3.
I don't know, but Orange Cassidy one more time. I should have been a little more prepared for this and wore something more spectacular for my wrestler because he is that freaking guy. Seth Rollins deserves to be on here. Starts off the decade, he's the Messiah. I thought that was a fun gimmick here. Tag champions with Buddy Murphy. Remember he took out Ray's eye, everybody? He blinded Ray and took out his eyeball. That happened. That happened.
Hey, Ray's a very religious guy. He prayed over it, went to a revival. It's fine now. It's all good.
It didn't come out of its socket. I'm sure they just popped it back in. Yeah. U.S. champion for a little bit, and then finally that first world heavyweight champion when they brought back that title, and had a good run with that. Nice little meaty run with that, and even right now, he's one of the most interesting people going right now about the main event for Netflix. So Seth Rollins.
All right, JB to Seth freaking Rollins. Make your list as he confers off screen. He's just consulting, make sure he's going to win the list.
No, we kind of designed.
Sorry. It's my turn. He was. It's one of the names I was looking at. I was like, "There's no way we can have these people on here and not have Seth freaking Rollins on here. Like, come on, he's done so much in this decade to be relevant, like for the business too. Like, and he's just over. Dude just stands in the middle of the ring and they sing a song. I mean, that's amazing. And not to mention his in-ring work is just incredible. Nobody's going to deny his in-ring work. Even through injury, everything that he did leading up to WrestleMania. I would be one to say that in the feud between him and Cody Rhodes versus The Rock and Roman Reigns, he was one of the biggest stars on the mic. I think that he was outclassing a lot of people and showing his mic skills in that environment, which would be tough because you got the 2 main guys, Roman and Cody, which are the focus. And then you got The Rock. And if you could sit there and go in there with The Rock and you could show that you're tough and that you can handle it on the mic, I mean, hey, and they were calling him a clown. You dress like a clown. You dress like a cross-dresser, all these things to him. And he's like, whatever, dude, they love me. And he was giving it right back. Seth Rollins showed in that feud how you can be you could be casted as a supporting star or a supporting actor, if you will, and still, make yourself relevant without taking away from everyone else within the story. I think he was a shining star in that segment, in that whole feud. And I think since then, even though he's took a few breaks because of, rest up, injury, he comes back, world title match. He's a made star, and he's in the main event of the Netflix with CM Punk. So, and then look at all the stuff he's done with Cody Rhodes. Like Cody Rhodes' first year back, he had 3 matches and it ended in a Hell in a Cell, which was a 5-star match. Incredible guy. He's actually quite up there on my list, decently enough. So big fat yes to Seth Rollins.
Yeah, no, I'll give it a yes. He's on my list. Again, one of the more consistent guys you could have, on your roster near the top of the guy who could feud with anybody, who could have great matches with anybody, who's again kind of tweaked and repurposed his character, here and there, even over the last, 4 or 5 years. Going from the Messiah to this like Seth freaking Rollins, the feather boas and the fur coats and all the, all the stuff he wears that everybody makes fun of. But that's how he's kept over. He gets the attention on himself, and he stayed relevant, and people dig it. And that long world title reign, working hurt, even working with the back injury, still having good matches, earning his time off when he did get time off. That man earned it. and he's still doing his thing, and still, like I said, a main eventer, literally in the next few weeks. So I'll say yes. Jacob.
Most people in WWE get their names shortened. He got his name added to, and for that reason alone, I think he deserves to make the list. Plus everything you guys said.
Sounds good. Richie, yeah or nay to Seth freaking Rollins?
Yes, it definitely. I think he is, fantastic. He's one of those guys. He's sort of like Chris Jericho. He always like reinvents his character a bit, and he always gets it over. I mean, other than the learning tree for Jericho. But anyway, that's another thing.
JB's next nomination, Chris Jericho, specifically learning tree, Chris Jericho.
Learning tree.
That's right.
He's constantly he's a fantastic, one of the best wrestlers in the world, and constantly just delivering. And I'm looking forward to him. The match on Netflix, and there's probably a reason why the Shield were one of the best factions considered one of the best factions of all time, because all three members of the Shield individually are on this list. So they're all great in their own individual ways as well. And also just quickly, if I was to do a book any match, right, I would any match in history. If I could just go back to book any match, I would do Rey Mysterio versus Vader in an eye for an eye match. There you go.
Okay. All right. So there we go. We have one spot left. JB, you got that list in front of you. You got one more spot. Can you close it out here? What do you got?
I don't know if it'll close it out, but I'll try. I do have one more name left that I'm looking at, and this guy is the epitome of, you put me in a situation where people might laugh or it might not get over, and he'll make it one of the best things that you could even watch. He did that with quite a few things, with WrestleMania matches, with storylines. I mean, I've seen this guy get injected into a major storyline and only elevate it. They gave this guy a joke match at WrestleMania, and he turned it into one of the most entertaining things that you could possibly look at and watch. And if you guys haven't figured it out yet, he has an Intercontinental Championship reign where he was one of only 3 people to defeat our current World Heavyweight Champion. And yes, I am talking about the honorary Uso, Sami Uso, Sami Zayn, WrestleMania, Johnny Knoxville, crazy joke match. Everyone still loved it. It was very entertaining. You give him something like that, he makes it to one of the best things that you could watch. You put him into a already hot feud, and he only elevates it, or an already hot story, the Bloodline. You interject him into that, and he only elevates it to top tier levels where people still watch those segments to this day. And then great ovation. Probably he was one of the ones that at Elimination Chamber, they were like, he should win. He should beat Roman Reigns. And everyone was saying he should. He didn't, but they were saying it. And that's crazy to do in that environment. They weren't saying that about a lot of people, And then, main event WrestleMania with Kevin Owens. Again, with an asterisk because of Jacob's preference of only one night WrestleManias. But and since then, I mean, he's been doing all kinds of good stuff. He was the one guy that in the OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline, they were like, we need Sami back, Sami Uso. I think he's proven this guy is incredible. He is incredible in the ring. He is a star. Was a star of 2 War Games matches. I mean, he's incredible. Everything he touches seems to turn to gold. And my pick is the honorary Uso, Sammy Uso, Sami Zayn.
Funny you say everything he touches turned to gold because he still never won the top gold, which is why I'm going to say no. Because I've still never seen him as that top guy, and I think they've always been so afraid to pull the trigger with him.
That's
think had he broken through and won and beaten Roman at that damn thing, now looking back on, he probably could have. Had he done that, I'd probably put him on this list. But I've never seen him as more of as an upper mid card guy. I just never have, and I like Sami Zayn. I always draft El Generico playing every time we do like high flyers or whatever. Like I love that dude for a while. I just feel like in WWE he's never quite gotten to that level for me. Like I've never seen him as that big attraction and on the same level as some of these other guys who everybody else, if you look at this list, has pretty much been like a world champion, you know, like and been like a top dog. And I've just never seen Sammy in that way. I know he's consistent. I know he's a good worker, but you know, having one quick intercontinental run and, you know, bouncing around as like kind of a lapdog for the bloodline for a little while doesn't quite do it for me. So I'm going to say no.
It's fair.
Jacob?
You said no to you said no to Orange Cassidy. So
I said no to Orange Cassidy. I can't say yes to Sami Zayn.
I wouldn't say anything because you were with me on Orange.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I like Sammy, but for this list, no. Jacob?
If you'd asked me a few rounds ago, I probably would have said no. But now that you know my Orange Cassidy pick kind of got taken down, Sammy was one that was kind of on the outside looking in, and I think he has had a really good decade. I think, you know, the argument that, you know, he didn't win that you know, world title, I think that for the first 3 or 4 years of the decade, I don't think that's a very strong argument because nobody was beating Roman Reigns in that time. I think it was unfortunate that there was only one, you know, well, I mean, there were 2, and then eventually one title. So I think he's been consistently great as a character. I think he's had great, you know, in-ring work. Technically, WrestleMania main events. It'd be interesting to know where those, you know, matches would have landed had it still only been a one-night thing. I think it still would have been a marquee matchup, big moment, both times. You know, his Intercontinental title. The only thing that I hate, and this isn't gonna, you know, take away my yes. I'm still gonna give him a yes. The only thing, stop calling him an underdog. How many times has he overcome the odds? He's not an underdog. He's stop calling him an underdog.
You can't beat Gunther. You can't be one of the only people beat Gunther and be an underdog.
Mm-hmm. He beat the longest reigning tag team champions. He's not an underdog. Yeah, sure, he had somebody by his side, but you know, he's not an underdog anymore. Stop calling him an underdog. I'm gonna give it a yes, but probably lower on the list.
All right, Richie, this could be close. What do you say?
Like I think he's had a good couple of years. I don't know about it's been consistent throughout, like, you know, up till now. I think he makes the most of what he's got. I'll agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I think the Johnny Knoxville match is more entertaining than any right should be. I was groaning when I first read that Johnny Knoxville was in WrestleMania, but ended up being a really fun match. And Sami Zayn's very entertaining. I do think they should have. I mean, maybe going back in history, like it would have meant the Cody Roman match wouldn't be as emotional. But I think you should have put the title on Sami at the Elimination Chamber. That was so ready for that. I was so ready for that. He was so over. And I don't know. So I'm going to leave it up to JPO again. All right. I'm going to say something.
Oh, boy. All right. He does it again. JPO. This is the final spot on the list. This could be a yay. Could be a nay. Could go to me or end right here. What do you think? Yes or no to Sammy Oos? Make sure you unmute yourself, by the way, so we can actually hear your answer.
The question is, am I feeling Oozy? You're damn right I'm feeling Oozy. This is my next. If I'd somehow come back to me, I would have said Sami Zayn. I think he did everything that it's asked of him. I think he's had a good, strong decade too. I enjoyed the documentary stuff and being paranoid. The original IC run too, before the most recent one with Gunther. The Uzi stuff was so good. The match with Roman, if it wasn't for that streak, I think he would have been world champ. They just unfortunately were in the middle of a bigger story. Main eventing Mania, first tag match main event Mania, just like Kevin. Yeah, like the return, the reunion. Yeah, he was next on my list. So,
all right, so 3-2 came down to that to get that final spot, but Sami Zayn just ekes it out and takes that 12th spot. So there we go. So that we have our 12. Real quick before we rank it, we'll go around and get everybody's kind of honorable mentions, what they would have nominated next, that sort of thing. Since it was on me next, I'll go next. One more name on the list. Bryan Danielson would have been my next spot. I think he was still killing it in WWE at the beginning of the beginning of the COVID era, and when he went to AEW, he again was having some of the best matches of his entire career. I'm multiple 5 stars, match of the year candidates, feuds with everybody, Blackpool Combat Club, putting his heart and soul in the ring every damn time till damn near his body's broken down, and then finally winning the AEW World Title. I mean, that would have been my next shot. So that would have been my next one. But Barber, what you got? Any other honorable mentions, or unmute yourself, buddy?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, some honorable mentions. If we wanted to go if I was tempted to go the TNA route, I would have brought up either Josh Alexander or Moose. I think they've had some pretty good decades. Braun Breaker, I think, has had a strong decade. I don't know if I would have brought him up, but like I wanted to give him a shout out in the honorable mentions. I think if we do this again in like a couple of years, I think he could have a strong case to be on the list.
Big time.
And then again, just wanted to shout him out in the honorable mentions because who would have thought he would have as good a decade as he did? But Sting, I think Sting had a decade worth shouting out. Like not top 12, but just hey, thanks for giving us some good moments throughout the decade.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, I had Bryan Danielson. Would have brought up. Yeah, like he'd been hurt on and off, so that probably hurt his stock a bit and activity. But Kenny Omega, I still think did a lot when he wasn't out. Like his title reign, as world champion was great, and he still had that tag matches that I've ever seen with Young Bucks at the start of the and then I just like that's pretty much much it, to be honest. Like I think the other people will sort of get up there, like your Braun Breaker. I would if you did this in like maybe 2-3 years, I'd probably say Trick Williams. But that's like he's had a good couple of years. But but yeah. So those are sort of those are the ones I can think of at the moment. I'm sure maybe JP3 or JP will bring up something. Like, oh yeah.
Well, yeah, JPO, you got any honorable mentions you want to throw out there for your next nomination or two? What you got?
No, honestly, I would have had to start scrambling. Only other people that I really liked or either ones that I switched off like Kevin Owens or switched back on like Drew McIntyre that ended up making it. So
okay, JB, what's the rest of that list you got in front of you, man? Anything else you want to shout out?
A lot of mine made it, so it made me happy. Obviously, Kevin Owens was on there. I did have Braun Breaker written down loosely. Kenny Omega. I would not have said no to Bryan Danielson at all, of course. Honorable mentions. Again, I didn't understand the rules, so I had a couple females that I'll wait. We will do a separate female one. The female one may be a little trickier. We may have to just do like everything like pre-2000 and then jump into the decades or something like that. I know for real.
As we're talking, actually, because we're not going to be like it's pointless doing the women in the 80s.
I don't think we could come. I don't know if we can come up with 12. Who's the Jumping Bomb Angels? Both of those.
That may be like a 3-episode series, like pre-2010, then like 2010s, and then 2020s, and now something like that. We may just break it up like that or something.
I am still waiting to see the match between Timeless Tony Storm and Wendy Richter.
Yes.
I got a connection to Alani Kai. I can make that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
pretty much those were the names. You guys kind of mentioned all of them. Kenny Omega is a huge one, but then again, obviously he's been out for a. It could be the negative recency bias with him being gone. That he didn't get picked.
Omega's someone that
Eventually he would have been sad, but
the decade.
I had him down. I had him over, a couple of guys that made the list, but it never got brought up. You only get a couple times to get up here and say the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, Carmelo Hayes maybe eventually. Again, he's on the Braun Breaker side of it. Maybe 2 or 3 years, he'll be really relevant. So
I am worried about him though. He fucking lost to Strowman in a minute, but hopefully,
as long as that doesn't continue, because Braun is kind of a special cat, so
he is.
We'll see. Because that is a little worrisome. That was a straight up squash.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the actual ranking portion, and we will rank the 12 that we have. I put them in the private chat for you guys so you can glance at them as we go along. But just to recap, the ones that are available for now, the official ranking that we will vote on, we got Gunther, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Jon Moxley, CM Punk, Christian, Swerve, MJF, Will Ospreay, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Sami Zayn all on the table. So what we'll do is we will start at 12. Paper whiteboards or JB, if you don't have anything with it, you can just say it. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, or just want to keep track, that's fine. Yeah, whatever you got to do. We'll write down what we think should be number 12. Let me do that as well here. Just a second. All right. We'll go around the horn and see whatever gets the majority votes. See what happens. Mr. Barber, you're up first, number 12.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. Richie.
Christian Cage.
JPO.
Sorry, Daddy. Christian.
How dare you?
JB.
How dare you?
MJF.
I also have Christian. So
How dare
Christian
all three of you?
12.
He was down there.
You're the weird one.
I'm just saying, Austin, you bring up the fact that Sammy was never a world champion. Christian was a world champion, yet you ranked him. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Christian, in the 2020s? In the 2020s?
Yeah,
and he was the world champion.
TNA
Cool.
world
I
champion.
don't watch TNA, so that's fine.
It was on AEW.
Who watches TNA besides JPO? I don't.
I do.
I watch a little.
Yeah. He's always bringing up these cards for these pay-per-views. I have no idea who 3/4 of the people are.
Oh wait, Jordan Grace.
Yeah,
Jordan Grace was in the Rumble, and she was on NXT. So I watched TNA.
Yeah, I don't ever watch TNA. So yeah, that doesn't make any difference to me. I'm going by his AEW run. All right, so Christian makes
It was part of his
12.
AEW run. It was during their partnership.
Yeah, he
I don't
won it in
remember that.
AEW, but
I wasn't watching AEW either. We weren't doing the show yet, so I wasn't watching all these pay-per-views. All right. I wasn't paying for all these pay-per-views for you guys to watch yet. All right.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Richie, number 11.
Sami Zayn.
JPO.
I never thought about it, but thank God we added you to the roster. Who would have put Barber? Me and you would have had to pay for all this shit?
Yeah, I know. I came in a little later, but thank you guys. You guys let me be part of the crew. Yeah, that's paid off, right?
I still pay for him because I like to watch him on my TV instead of my computer screen.
Well, you better limit your password. I wouldn't have done it the whole time.
All right. So Richard's got. So we got Sammy, Drew, JB. What you got? JF. I'm going Sammy. Jacob.
Yeah, I'm sticking with
Sammy. All right. So Sami Zayn.
Hey, I'm just glad he's on the list.
No one feeling that easy.
All right, Sami Zayn at number 11. There we go. All right, going into the top 10 here, we have knocked off Christian and Sami Zayn. All right, so let's see. Let me write mine down real quick before we go around the horn. JPO, number 10.
Drew McIntyre.
McIntyre.
Hey, fuck you. I'm hitting buttons.
JB, I'm with you now that we're in the 10, MJF. I just wanted to get him a little bit higher. Yeah.
I'm there too.
And Richie?
Hey.
Okay, MJ.
Okay. All right,
He
MJF.
has his own opinion. We're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of us have like a definitive like top 5 or 6 or something. Maybe some of these, could go any way, one or the other, a couple of these ways. So, I think there's a kind of a clear top couple of guys here. So we'll see what happens. But MJF is off the list now. So look at the list, see what is next. All right. Okay. JB should have a new thing by now since MJF's off the list now.
Will Ospreay.
You're gonna hold that for a while.
Yeah, you might be holding that for a minute. I'll go Swerve for number 9.
I also have Swerve.
Swerve, Richie,
That's CM Punk.
CM Punk, JPO,
Drew.
Drew. All right, Swerve with 2 votes though. Picks
Yeah,
it up, so.
I can't
All right.
disagree with that either.
All
He's
right.
right there with me. He's kind of tied with Ospreay for me.
Okay, so Swerve at number 9. All right. Okay, so knock him off the list. All right. All right. I got that right one really quick. On to me. We are on to number 8. I will now go Drew. I just a little bit higher, but yeah. Jacob.
This could be interesting because I went CM Punk.
CM Punk. Richie.
CM Punk.
CM Punk. JPO.
Drew.
Drew. All right, tied up. JB. You can go for whoever you want.
Yeah, but I mean, it ain't gonna make a difference, right? I'm not.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well,
it'll make a difference.
Go
Yeah.
for whoever you want. Yeah, we have.
Look, then he's just going to end up breaking the tie anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna end up breaking the tie anyway, so you can vote for whoever you want.
Oh, okay.
Vote Drew or Punk.
Will
Basically,
Ospreay.
that's what we're saying.
Okay, so
Okay,
you can
now
vote for
vote
Will.
Drew
That's
or
fine.
Punk.
Now, but what it is, but since you were the one who didn't vote for either Drew or Punk, now you decide number 8, Drew or Punk goes in number
Drew.
8. Drew. Okay, so Drew McIntyre at number 8. Okay. All right.
Would have been my number 7. Just putting that out there.
So,
Like these two are close for me.
Drew McIntyre at number 8. Right. Okay. Okay.
I'm just glad Dave Meltzer's not here because we all know who would be number 1.
The Young Bucks combined.
Yeah.
Combined.
Yeah. Since they're buddies. The
New
Kumar
Japan
kid.
concept.
Yeah, the Tokyo Dome is number 1. Just the structure, the venue.
Ace
All
cars.
right. Jacob,
I'm going to stick with Punk.
Punk, Richie,
CM Punk.
JPO,
Will Ospreay.
JB,
Will Ospreay.
CM Punk.
Dang it.
All right. CM Punk at number 7. Not Punky, CM Punk.
Punky.
Punky,
Hey,
like Punky Brewster, yes.
AJ. Hey,
All
Punky.
right. Punky. All right, CM Punk off the list. We are going to number 6. All right, I'm gonna look at my list here. Okay, Richie, number 6.
Will Ospreay.
Osprey, JPO,
No, Will Ospreay.
JB.
Will Ospreay.
I had Rollins. Jacob.
Will Ospreay.
Will Osprey at number 6. All right.
Man, Austin loves him some Will Ospreay.
He's been the most exciting guy I've seen in a long time that I want to see all of his matches. So
That's
that's
fair.
one of the reasons.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
every one of his matches,
It's
that
hard
partner
to
comes out for a
compare
match and I'm
Richie,
there.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just
I-
saying, like, when we literally
I'm
had to have a
I'm just
discussion,
saying,
when we had to have a discussion between us, JB, behind the scenes of like, all right, we have like match of the year discussions at the end of the year. We had to have a separate thing for just Will Ospreay's best matches and then everybody else. So
Yeah.
that's something, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
on its own for us.
Now it's getting tough.
Yeah. All right. So we are into the top 5 here. And just to remind you guys of the remaining, we have Gunther, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, John Moxley, and Seth Rollins still on the table here into the top 5. All right. I believe we're on to JPO. Am I correct? First?
no,
Yeah.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins, JB.
Seth Franklin Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah. I had him last time, so I'll stick with him. Yeah. Rollins.
Rollins.
Richie.
Seth Frederick Rollins.
All right. And I will spell it out correctly.
Frederick Rollins.
Rollins. All right. Seth freaking Rollins. There you go. At number 5. All right. Into the top 4 here. This could get a little tricky. We'll see what happens. All right. Okay. Give you guys a second to think it over. Gunther, Roman Reigns, Cody, or Mox. JB, I believe you are up first.
John Moxley.
I also have Mox at number 4.
I have Cody.
Cody, Richie.
John Moxley.
All right, JPO.
I want Gunther.
Gunther. Okay, but
What?
Mox with enough to get in at number 4.
That's crazy.
All right. Okay, so Moxley is off the table. We are left with Gunther, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Right. All right, give you guys a second here. Okay, so number 3, kicking off with me. I'm gonna go Cody. Jacob.
Cody.
Cody. Richie.
Cody.
JPO.
Gunther.
Gunther and JB.
I hope I don't have an American nightmare for putting this on the list. Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, Cody Rhodes at number 3.
You got to get number 1.
Yeah, and JB, just to be clarified, we now jump to number 1. So you're voting for number 1. Not number 2, because number 2 will be by default. So make sure you make that clear before we vote. So either Roman Reigns or Gunther, you're number 1 of 2020 to now.
Oh, am I first?
No. I'm just saying, just make sure you're voting correctly. So no, Jacob will be up first when we go to it, but just want to make sure you're clear. You're voting for number 1. All right, that's what will be on the table here. Okay, I'll kind of wait till everybody's ready. All right, it's only 2 left, so there shouldn't be a tie. So we'll see what happens here. Roman Reigns or the Ring General Gunther for your number 1 2020 now.
I'm not mad whichever way this goes.
It could go either way. I'll be interested to see what happens here.
Obviously, I have a preference. But
All right, JB, ready? All right, Mr. Barber, you're up first.
my number 1 is Gunther.
Gunther, Richie,
Roman Reigns.
JPO,
Tribal Chief.
Tribal Chief, JB.
You have to acknowledge the only tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
And I had Gunther, so it was split 3-2 for consistency and rise. So, but
He's the original tribal chief.
Better promos, better moments so far, and I'd say equal matches. So
I got tired. I got bored with Roman's matches for a while there, and I was kind of ready to move on. And Gunther was always exciting to me, so that's why he was number 1.
I know Gunther's had a couple missteps,
and I liked his
matches weren't blown
but
away.
I liked his
matches. I think were.
I liked his meteoric rise, and his star just kept going and going and going and going. And he was always.
No, I mean he deserves to be here for sure. Yeah.
No, I mean it's.
I'm just trying to defend why Roman.
No. And I'm not.
Epic reign that will never be matched again.
No, I'm not arguing with you. Like it's more like this is more personal preference, like personal nitpicks.
No, for sure.
So
I'll say this: if anybody were to ever match that, it would be Gunther. And in 2030, the number 1 will be Gunther. Like Roman Reigns is on the tail end of his career. Gunther's. It's more of one of those situations. But yeah, the tribal chief is the tribal chief.
Don't forget, it's technically another 6 years almost. Well, I guess about 6 almost. Right. I mean, Roman may barely make the top 10 when we get to 2030 because if he kind of starts fizzling out these next year or two.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's run it down real quick. Just to recap, after all the debate, all the yeses and nos, and the ranking, our rank 'em wrestlers for 2020 now. Number 12, Christian Cage. Number 11, Sami Zayn. Number 10, MJF. Number 9, Swerve. Number 8, Drew McIntyre. Number 7 is CM Punk. Number 6, Will Ospreay. Number 5, Seth freaking Rollins. Number 4, John Moxley. Number 3, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Number 2, the Ring General, Gunther. And number 1, your only tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him as number 1. There you go. All right. So we have acknowledged him, and that is it. So, yeah, fun time as always, JPO. Thanks for the idea. Yeah, we've been plowing through these rankums, and we can switch gears and still do these through 2025. Like I said, we can do a women's series. We can do a tag team series. I think a tag team series would be really Yeah, I mean, you could
ECW,
do,
like we got options.
you could
to-
do
that we have a little
faction.
bit.
You could do factions. You could do, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we could do interesting things all around.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't have to do a decade one, but we could do a managers one. I don't know, like this best managers.
for all time or something like that. Yeah, I mean, we could do different rankums. Yeah, throughout the year. So yeah,
We
no,
could
this
do
is
a-
something- yeah.
We could do an all time for this one also, and just take all the top 12s, and that's the pool we have to choose from. But instead of choosing their specific decades, we look at their career as a whole. Maybe exclude the 2020s, because obviously that some of them have young careers. But
Well,
it's
and
an idea.
it would be less overall because we had crossovers. People, making
Exactly.
multiple decades.
That too,
Yeah,
yeah.
because Sean making multiple decades, Jericho. Some of those guys that made multiples. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, but no, we do rank about once a month over here on the Lonely Marks. Once every month and a half. So yeah, you can look out. We may do some tag series, some women's. Showcase some other random topics. To do our own little rankums, maybe even a recast every now and then. We talked about doing that with some wrestlers, all kinds of interesting stuff for 2025. We're going to do a fantasy draft, like fantasy football with wrestlers. JPO's proposed that, and I think we could definitely do that at the beginning of the year and keep track of like point totals for, wins and losses and championships and pay-per-views and, all kinds of stuff, and figure that out and keep track. That could be a little fun. Yeah, all kinds of interesting things planned out for the Lonely Marks. But as far as the immediate future, I know next week, Jacob, I believe you are going to be a little busy, so we'll be one down.
Yes, I was trying to forget about that. Oh
no, yeah, I'm going to remind you now, because yes, we are doing. We will talk about World's End. We're going to do our predictions, JPO. So JPO will have our predictions ready to go as we do for all these pay-per-views. We'll talk about the Continental Classic, maybe recap a little bit of that as we're going over the matches and all that. Talk about current events, and then yes, I teased it last year. We didn't do it. It is December, so before December's out, we are going to review December to December. Goddamn right we are next week, and we're going to talk about it and go match by match. So, and you guys are not bailing. You're going to be on this goddamn show with me, and we're doing it because it's my topic, and we're going to do it. And we're going to watch that damn pay-per-view, and we're going to see how.
I know I normally like fact check because I just a waste of time. I'm weirdly more inclined to watch this one. That makes no sense. I think I'm going to watch this one. I really do. I've never seen it. I've only heard of matches, and
I think it's like short too, because what is it, like a short? It was like 2 hours, like 10 minutes or something.
I feel like a lot of the mid card is like basically sci-fi matches that are like 5 to 10
minutes,
tops.
5 minutes. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So yeah, like I doubt Matt Striker and Balls Mahoney go 15. Like I bet you that's a 6-minute match. So I'm weirdly inclined. I don't even want to know. I want to be surprised. That's the only other weird one I remember in the middle.
I have not watched it all the way through since like 08 or something, after it happened. So I have not revisited the whole show as a whole. So we're gonna jump into it, especially also Richie. He might lose some of his access to a few things, so we got to do it before he loses access with his streaming service. So yeah, we're gonna do it. So we're gonna have fun with the predictions as we always do, but then we're gonna dive in and talk about a pretty infamously bad show with December. Just have a little fun next week, after Christmas, and just goof around and be silly. But let's go around and get the plugs out of the way, and we'll close it out for tonight. JB, our honorary Lonely Mark tonight. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We greatly appreciate you joining in today. Kind of last
minute. I love you, JB3.
Yeah, helping us out. We appreciate that. Anything you want to plug? Got some lights out or anything going on? Any other ventures? What's up? What do you got going on?
A shout out to Mr. Jake Tato for being the new guy that runs Lights Out Trivia.
He was hanging out spotting for Omega in the comments a little bit.
That's his boy. But
that's right.
No, Lights Out. Tato's going to be doing his thing with Lights Out. They got a lot of things going on over there. Me personally, starting in the new year, I do have a new game that I'm going to be starting up, a new trivia league, if you will. That's going to be coming out. Another one of my brainchilds that's coming into fruition. So keep on the lookout for that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be short but fun. They're going to be shorter matches. It's going to be fun. I want to have a lot of fun doing it. So keep on the lookout for that.
It's going to be called Short Fun Trivia. SFT.
Yes.
Straight to the point. Short fun trivia. That's right.
Yeah. No, it's
You're
working. I am working on the name. I'll put that in my mind. No, and it's going to be fun. Also, I'm going to be starting a little bit later on in 2025. I got a lot of prep to do for it. I'm going to be starting up a new podcast where I talk about sports, wrestling, those types of things. So it's going to be fun times. I'm going to have my buddy. It's going to be helping me out do that from time to time. It's going to be a good old live interactive podcast where the viewers that watch live can interact and good old how it goes, put the question on screen, probably do some live watch alongs too when that starts. So 2025 is going to be a big year for the JB3.
Oh yeah, man. Well, thanks for being on here, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, we'll hit you up for a future Rankum in 2025. We bounce around the kind of the guest stars for Rankums, but I'm sure you'll be in and out on one.
I mean, if you're willing to have me, if Jacob's gone, if you need a fill-in for next week, I'm willing to do some predictions.
If you want to, if you got to be on, then you got to watch December to Dismember. That's the caveat.
That's your fucking
hey, I'll gladly watch December to Dismember. I'll gladly
if you want to. That's the only caveat. You can join in on prediction ship. You got to watch the December to Dismember.
As long as I don't have to stay up too late. I'm pushing a little bit tonight. I got to be up in a little over 4 hours, but
it probably won't be as bad. It's a short card.
Our shows run about 2 hours.
It can run that time.
This is an exception. Our Rankums go a little longer because we have to do news and shit too. So usually they're about 2 hours.
I took a nap to prepare. So
gotcha. Well, you keep us posted. We'll see, but that's what we got on the agenda for next week. JPO, what you got going on the Pierce Co and your other ventures? What you got going on?
Speaking of the Pierce Co, check us out. We had lights out. We had ASAP a couple nights ago. We're always doing fun stuff here. I'm kind of taking it a little easy this month, but we'll go back into those normal shenanigans, picks and lists, top tens, bracket battles, all that stuff in 2026. Speaking of lights out, though, I'm, of course, your current reigning defending tag team champion of Lights Out. Me and Brandon Cohen, longtime first time, which is also on the Periscope Thursdays at 8. We are your current Lights Out tag team champions as well. So we're running roughshod over there. We are the Viking Raiders, and me and Barber just had a singles match as well. Check that out. I believe the score was 40-37,
something like that. It was a very high scoring affair.
It was not a lot of points. But
spoilers, JPO won 5-4.
We had a similar situation with a tag team match where it was like me and Jordan versus Zach and his partner. It was like 6-6 for most of the night. It was not a high scoring, banger of an affair.
Not a high scoring event. It was very much so we could eke it out at the end there. But it was still nonetheless fun here. And I got some trio stuff over in multiplex and whatnot. And
all right, no, sounds good. Richie.
You can find me and Pez Rabbit Wheel of Movies. We recorded we did an episode with Wolfman on his birthday for V for Vendetta. Check that out. You can also find my Lights Out Trivia. I'm in the singles tournament taking on JPO's partner Brandon Cohen and his Dirty Sanchez mustache. So I will be victorious, Brandon. Okay, he's watching this. I am ramming up the trash shop this time around. Okay, I shouldn't be confident because I don't have a good record, but fuck it. I'm all around other sort of trivia spaces here and there. What we love horror, and all that jazz. So you can find me on the tomorrow on the championship of the best of 997 series. So check that out. And if you say later, we might spin the wheel for what we're going to do in a couple of weeks. And then I'll be here for watching December to Dismember if I haven't forgotten a good impression.
At least it's a short paper tomorrow. It's like barely over 2 hours, I think, something like that. I remember even when it aired live, they like barely had enough to make it over 2 hours. So at least it's a short show. But Mr. Barber, you got anything you want to plug? Or are you just doing your comedy gimmicks?
Yeah,
and all that?
I'm also I'm part of Lights Out. I'll be in that singles thing that Tato's starting.
You never did when
But
I was
yeah.
running it. You were never part of it when I was running it. You should have contacted me more. Just saying. You can text me sometimes, Jacob. You can just call me, text me. We can talk. I watch your comedy. I think you're funny. I would laugh if I was
So
there.
here's the thing, JB3. I always kept a lookout for your sign-ups. Like, hey, we're gonna do an exhibition tonight. We're gonna do it, and it was always on nights that I was doing comedy. I wanted to, but
Did you at least bring it up in your comedy show and say, "Hey guys, I'm glad I can be here. I was going to be on my buddy's trivia show, but I chose this instead." Did you do that?
Yeah, every single time. I was like, it was
Every
between
time,
this and online trivia, and I chose you guys. So
They go, boo!
if you don't laugh, I will have made the wrong decision.
Lights out trivia.
And if you are in the
You're a
state,
part of it too.
you're in the state of Washington, I will be in Tacoma next Thursday. That is why I will not be on the show. Although December to Dismember is one of those bad pay-per-views that I would actually not mind talking about.
He's gonna be bringing the laughs, sounding like that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully, the host did say, because the list is like there's like 20 people. The host did say that I was going to be one of like 4 funny people on the show. So
okay.
that's a nice confidence boost.
Okay.
Hey.
People, that's just going along. That's just sluts sometimes.
Yeah, that can be rough. So just somebody bombs right in front of you and just kills the fucking crowd.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I'm like 12th.
Oh boy, yeah, that could be rough. You want to be in like those first 5. I feel like on those nights, like while the crowd's
One down
still-
here in my hometown, I'm usually hosting or I'm first.
Yeah, that's like being some of these AEW pay-per-views. Watching you're like match number 9 of like a 12-match fucking pay-per-view card, and the crowd's just like in between that spot where they're like they've been hyped for some early stuff and they're like saving their energy for the main event. You're just in that like dead spot, and they're just like, like
I'm going on like sort of 3rd or 4th. That way, it's like not too early, but not too late, and then I can go home.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, so yeah, you can mostly find me over in the Movie Hero Network, co-hosting or hosting all the shenanigans over there, tournament fights, tier ranker fights, Wheel of Movies, recast, all kinds of good stuff. We've had some recast episodes, we had some Christmas ones, Die Hard, Home Alone. We had some fun episodes. Richie was on one of those. We were doing it all over there. Yeah, we got tournament fights wrapping up this week, and then we'll kind of take a good chunk of the week next week off for Christmas. Let everybody enjoy their holidays as we're cramming in so much this week. But yeah, Movie Hero Network Facebook group as well. JB, JPO, y'all are free to promote your heart's content over there. Drop whatever links you want to drop over there for all the trivias and whatnot. Get the eyeballs on it. Feel free. We always promote everybody's content here in this big community. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Like I said, with a little World's End predictions and December to Dismember. So that should be a fun show. A nice mix of stuff.
But most importantly, World's End predictions. Yeah.
Most importantly, December to Dismember, because we've been waiting on that for a year. So, at least for me. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up there for tonight. So, thanks once again, JB, for filling in for tonight, being our honorary lonely Mark. We appreciate it. We'll have you back at some point. For JPO, for Richie, for Jacob Barber, I am Austin Pez. Howell. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.